welcome back to the Crash Space. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're starting a bit late here on a Sunday morning. It's April 5th, 2026, but we got there at the end. We'll still stream for a couple hours today, so it'll be okay, but apologies. We were definitely behind schedule, way more than we wanted to be. But we're back. It's been an exciting and a fun week. Unfortunately, a week I have to report I haven't been able to play a lot of Marvel Champions, which is why I'm really always looking forward to Sunday mornings. And hopefully you can join for a live stream or a VOD or however it is. Hey, Clutch, how's it going? I'm in here in case you're wondering if anybody's watching it. Let's do this. Actually, that was super useful. Turns out my YouTube chat was not refreshed, and I was just going to be stuck at a black screen for a bit. So how are you doing? How's your Sunday? Welcome to the stream. So this week has been interesting. I've been doing some other weird streaming stuff, and I think I'm just going to shout this out at the top because it might have an overlap. Usually these two communities overlap a bit more than Netrunner and Arkham Horror or Marvel Champions, excuse me. I guess I spoiled it a wee bit. But this week was April Fool's Day on the 1st of April, just on Wednesday. And normally when it comes to April Fools, I always classically on the Metropole Grid do a little goofy stream where I stream something that's not Netrunner to try and share some excitement with the Netrunner community. Last year we streamed Marvel Champions on the channel and just got to play some Marvel Champions in front of people who might not have seen it before. And I always think that's really fun. But this month we did something slightly different. Oh, it's a bit cut off there actually in a really unfortunate way because it's fun to see it. But hold on, can I hide this? Yeah, maybe I can. Yeah, sort of. Hold on one second. There. We did a stream for Arkham Horror on the Metropole Grid. We had a nice overlay that's obviously very similar to the technology you see here today, and we pulled up all the cards, and we played through most of the Season 2 core set, which is the new core set that just came out a couple weeks ago. And it is a better core set than I thought it would be. I actually enjoyed it a fair bit, and it was really nice to make it as approachable and presentable, probably as this channel is, I hope. But it was a real treat. And so if this is something that you care about, you find the link to this VOD, to that stream, just in the description below. But also, I do think there's a big chance, and the issue is like time constraints, like figuring out when in the day, or more accurately, when in the week to do it, is that this has always been kind of a threat. But at some point in the future, Velma's Diner, which is the channel to which we will be streaming Arkham Horror content, will be open. If you want to subscribe, again, the link to this will be in the description. I can't promise you when or what it is, but I spent a fair bit of time this weekend making sure we can collect all the card art for all of the cards for the modern standard format, or whatever it's called, the current format, when it comes to Marvel Champions, or sorry, it's Arkham Horror. So that should be up sooner than later if you want to watch some Arkham Horror and learn how that game works. It's pretty cool. It's a cooperative game. Hold on, my chat's also broken again. This is why I have my phone up. So something's going on because I don't have any chat updates, and then I refresh, and then suddenly there's a whole lot of nice people in chat. Oh, 1 second. How's everyone doing? Hey, Toy Wonder. Hey, good morning. How do I feel? MC cardstock is very fragile. Sonic, how's it going? That's technically true. The MC cardstock for the newer sets, the last sets that came out, were a fair bit worse than they have been classically. I think that what the folks at it's hard to tell exactly what the angle is, but the folks at Fantasy Flight Games look to be minimizing the amount of plastic they use in their products. So cards, from my understanding, it's usually like 2 pieces of cardboard, and then there's something in the middle called the core. The core of this, and mind you, obviously it's sleeved, I think used to be somewhat plastic. There used to be something in here that makes it a bit stronger. Now, when Civil War came out, those cards have no core. You can tell because they're very, very, very flimsy, and you can shine like strong lights through them. The card quality has like degraded a fair bit. Again, I can't tell if that's just cost-cutting measures or because they want to minimize the use of plastic. And the last product I got since then, like Hercules and what's his face, Wonder Man, they seemed better than my Civil War cards, which came in pretty bowed and like crummy. But yeah, they're lighter. Like the cards are also notably lighter. I don't love it. It looks like Arkham Horror didn't have that thin cards. Like Arkham Horror, they still felt worse than they used to back in the day, but they didn't feel as bad as Civil War. Civil War felt quite bad. They used to cord cardstock, but it's the same thickness. The core is more dense cardstock. Okay, so it's just more thicker, yeah, paper. I know a bit about this because like trying to get a printer to print cards and like things like Magic the Gathering, they're actually secretive on how thick their cards are and what the core is. But Magic cards are generally a bit thicker than this. This is an old card. This was printed in like, I think 2022. Yeah, and so this card quality is noticeably different than newer stuff. It's a huge bummer. And even when you sleeve them, I can tell, like I can show you when I pick up cards from like Tigra, how kind of awful they feel and they look. And for a game where it's all about like tactility, literally holding the pieces, it's honestly a bummer. Like there's no way around it. It sucks. I wish it was better. Just want to say, starting soon music you had playing was kind of fire. Oh, hey, Spider Bro, thank you. We license a whole bunch of music, and some of it's quite good. I handpick it, and so if you liked it, hopefully it was a good choice. Braid, haven't been able to play much lately either. Work today too. Oh, hopefully it's not too bad, Clutch. Yeah. Good morning. Hey, Sniper, how's it going? I hadn't had the time to catch up on your stream, but it's on my list of things to watch. Hopefully you've been well. I've been working through the stream. It's great so far. I was able to follow what was happening. Awesome. Yeah. We didn't do a great job explaining the rules. We did like a rules teach that took like, I would say maybe 5 minutes, but I do think it teaches you like 90% of the game. Specifically, my audience comes from Netrunner, and Netrunner has the same sort of structure as Arkham Horror does, which actually makes it one of the most interesting card games, if you ask me. Because in Arkham Horror, it's not like Marvel Champions. In Marvel Champions, you know, your turn is limited by how many things you can do, which is usually limited by how many cards you can play or how many cards you can exhaust to do things. When it comes to Arkham Horror, you have 3 actions on your turn. It kind of plays out more like a board game. And so playing a card is an action. Drawing a card is an action. So you can always just draw more cards. And like interacting with the game, like attacking or finding a clue is an action. That's the exact same thing as Netrunner. And that's why Netrunner is so compelling, is that like you have 4 actions on your turn. They're called clicks. And compared to other games like Magic the Gathering or like Hearthstone or Yu-Gi-Oh or wherever, where you're just only drawing 1 card a turn and that's kind of it. You can just like spend your next 3 actions drawing 3 new cards and get a new hand, which is like such a compelling part of the game, and why that card game plays more like a board game, where it's like on this turn, it's not just play your 1 drop. It's like, oh, you can actually do like 70 different things. Just kind of like opening a board game. It's really, really good. I'm too used to NSG cardstock, way higher quality than MC. Yeah, NSG's cardstock is it's a fair bit better. They have a new printer, mind you, as of like the last set. If you picked up Vantage Point, they're working with Boda, I believe they're called, the new printer. Their cardstock is a bit different. Their cards are a bit waxier, but the card quality, like the core, seems totally acceptable. It's much better than Marvel at modern FFG, which sucks. Cards feel worse without the core to me. They feel much worse to me. Yeah, not my favorite, but what can you do? Okay, so today we're back. This is a deck that I have to apologize. It was meant to show up on the channel sooner than now. This might be some old news to some folks, because this is a deck that actually did a proper write-up, and I shared it. Because at this point it was like February, so it's been a minute. We've unfortunately been very busy with a lot of different things. I was invited on the Winning Hand podcast, which, if you don't know the Winning Hand podcast, link below. It's a long running podcast. They're coming up on episode 100, but they usually invite guests on and they talk about a single card. And so the guest comes on, usually talks about themselves, and then they highlight what they think about this card. They talk about like the flavor, the mechanics, and then they often show off a deck that they built specifically around that card. When Boom Guy reached out to be on the Winning Hand, I was like so nervous. I'm like, oh, I hope it's a good card to talk about, because I'm sometimes not the best at talking up a bad card or a card that I don't think is a great card. I know Boom Guy has a sort of philosophy that there are no bad cards, but there are in fact bad cards. There's cards that are better than others. That doesn't mean they're not interesting cards, but this is a philosophical argument and not a good way to make friends on a podcast. Regardless, it was a lovely time. Both a Lazy Titan and Boom Guy were just like the nicest guests, or the nicest hosts, excuse me. And I got really lucky because the card that was picked was just genuinely such a good card to talk about. It's Strength and Diversity. So if you haven't played this card yet, and I honestly don't think it's a super popular card, I think there's a couple things pigeonholing it. Firstly, it's a leadership card, and I don't know, leadership sees a fair bit of play, but it's not my favorite. I've been playing a fair bit more leadership recently. That's true. But it's also a very weird card because it's a deck building card. It's like a puzzle card, the sort of card where to make this good, you have to make decisions when you put your deck together, which is not always the case when it comes to leadership, where a lot of leadership can be kind of just like averagely good by just playing minions, or playing allies. And this one makes you care about your allies because it makes you care about your traits. And for each different trait on friendly characters you have in play, you can remove 1 threat or deal 1 damage. We saw this card before, functionally in All Points Bulletin in, what's her name, in Maria Hill. And this sort of effect, and again, I'm not going to repeat too much of what I've said on the podcast. It's absurdly good. This sort of effect is an attack. It is a thwart. But notably, it does beat Stun or Confuse. It functionally has toughness because you're doing instances of 1 damage and 1 threat. But the biggest thing is that this card is flexible, and this card never wastes value, right? So the idea is if you have a Strength and Diversity and you have like, say, I don't know, 10 traits or something, at no point in time are you going to waste any of that value. But if you had a card that thwarted for 10 or attacked for 10, you're obviously going to waste some of the value on the card. And so this is a very flexible card that can just solve the table. It functionally just solves the table. Whatever problems you have, Strength and Diversity will solve them. And so making this card good and consistent in the central part of your game plan is actually really, really good, particularly when it comes to solo, which I think is really important. Because in solo, one of the biggest things that you can do is be able to be flexible with what you're drawing in your game plan. On some turns, there's a crisis. There's a side scheme that you have to clear this turn. Sometimes there's 2 minions that you have to clear this turn, or it's going to be a problem. And Strength and Diversity is the sort of card that you can draw on hopefully all board states, assuming you have enough characters, that will always fix whatever problems you have. And any extra damage or threat can always be put towards the main scheme, let alone towards damaging the villain. It's so good. It beats Retaliate. Again, it beats Stun or Confuse. It functionally has Piercing. This is one of the strongest effects in the game. At least I think. This is just such a busted, powerful card. But it comes with costs, and costs are functionally deck building costs, let alone a bit of a play cost as well. And I don't want to undervalue the play costs. For this card to be good, you can't be blocking with your allies a lot, right? Because your allies need to be in play for this card to be good. And I do want to say maybe at the top, how good does this card have to be for it to be good? How many traits do you need to have in play for this card to be good? And my answer is like 5. I think if you have 5 traits, this card's actually pretty good. And that's not that hard, considering there's a couple heroes, including what we're playing today, Phoenix, that start with 3 traits. Phoenix starts the game with Psionic, X-Men, and technically, and you'll see when we go through her card, she also starts with this trait called Restrained, which is unique to Phoenix. This being a 2 for 3 is okay, but once you play a single ally, like heaven forbid you play like a Vivian, Vivian's really cheap, easy to play, and she comes in with Aerial, Android, and Champion. Now Strength and Diversity is a 3 for 6. And 3 for 6s in this game is just very good rate. That's what you're expecting. But this is not just a 3 for 6. This is a 3 for flexible 6. So do you need some damage, some thwart? And that's kind of what I'm saying here. Is like Strength and Diversity is not hard to play. But again, you generally want a lot of minions in play, or sorry, a lot of allies. I always say minions for allies and vice versa. Strength and Diversity is such a fun leadership card. I love it. Hey man, what's up? Yo, Andy, how's it going? But I think it struggles to scale with player count. This was the part of the conversation I was the most excited for when I was on the winning hand, because as you might know, I mostly play solo. Sometimes I play two-handed. And this is a really unique card because in the top left corner, its cost scales with player count. So I've only played this card when it costs 2, but easily again, this card can cost up to 8. Now, the way that you see that, like maybe that makes sense. Like the linear scaling on cost maybe also gives you a linear scaling on output, but that's usually not the case. Because one player can definitely build their deck around Strength and Diversity, but 2 players building their deck around Strength and Diversity gets a fair bit harder. Now, that being said, you can still get a 4 for like, I don't know, like 20 with this, which is obviously very good for the table because it's very flexible. But the more players you add to like the more cooks in the kitchen, the harder it is to get a higher number, just because it's more likely that characters will overlap with the traits they're playing, right? Like if I'm playing X-Men, my opponent shouldn't be playing X-Men. If I have a Shield Spy, my opponent shouldn't have a Shield Spy. If I have an Avenger, sorry, I'm not trying to say opponent, I'm trying to say my like teammate here shouldn't have an Avenger. It's just really hard to have 2 characters not horribly overlapping with their traits. But then when it comes to 3 or 4 characters at a bigger multiplayer table, this card seems unplayably bad. It's really weird. And there's some cards that get better with multiplayer. And there's some cards that get worse with multiplayer. That's like one interesting thing. And as somebody who mostly plays solo, I know the way that I value cards is obviously weighted towards solo play largely. But yeah, this card is, from my understanding, not great at higher player counts, and academically, that makes a heck of a lot of sense. I think multiple players could work together to build a Strength and Diversity decks, and each player has 3 copies of this in their deck. I don't know if everyone's excited to play an 8-cost card that they can pitch in for. Mind you, Alliance is the keyword here, and there's no reminder text, but Alliance just means anybody at the table can help pay for the cost, so you don't have to front those 8 resources. Of course, it's like nearly impossible. And that's obviously the cool thing with this card, but this card is really, really quite good. And so I'm going to talk about the deck that we put together today, and it's a weird deck because as much as Phoenix is on the list of characters that I haven't played a campaign with in the last year, so we have to do that. She has this many cards in her deck, minus 2. There's 2 more cards, more accurately. But these cards usually don't matter in the deck, which is kind of goofy. And that's because the thing that you're doing with leadership and Strength and Diversity usually means that these cards, and I'll be honest, I never liked Phoenix's cards anyways. She has some unique quirks to her that make her really well suited for this deck. But like, I don't know a lot of the text on the Phoenix cards, and I don't think you have to know the text on the Phoenix cards to play this deck, which is both a bummer, but also like, yeah, sometimes you'll do a Psychic Blast, sometimes. Probably usually not, but it's neat. But yeah, that's the deck. It's a strength and diversity deck. Diversity is such a strong solo card. Ryan, how's it going? It's so strong. And I guess I'll lead with this question, and you might know the answer because I published this deck list. And this deck list I created on the winning hand just specifically to answer this question. And so I'll ask chat if you want to answer this question. If you were playing solo and you have strength and diversity in your deck, and you're not doing anything strange by interacting with a certain encounter deck that can give you, bespoke allies that don't take slots with weird traits and stuff like that, what is the highest you think you can get with strength and diversity? What is the biggest number of triggers on a single strength and diversity play? What do you all think it is? Because my thesis is I think I've solved it. I think I have a deck that can get it to the highest number you can in the current card pool, but also is actually quite playable. I think that's one of the upsides and one of the downsides is like you can add weird characters with weird traits, but the deck also has to play well. Like you need to get your allies on the table quickly. They need to be affordable. They need to have reasonable text, because if you just play a bunch of expensive, weird, clunky allies that don't interact with your game plan favorably, yeah, strength and diversity will fire, but you might lose the game before then or right after then or something somewhere in between. But so there's two questions, and I think this deck is really good at delivering strength and diversity, but I also think it has the highest payout. It has the highest single strength and diversity payout number that you can play in solo. What do you want to guess the number is? If you don't guess, I'll let you know. I'll just wait for like 10 seconds here because there's a stream delay and all that. Robert, how's it going? Good morning. Hopefully you've been well. We started a bit late today. The allies need to stick around, yes. And I think that's like a big reason why strength and diversity might not be the tier 1 best thing you can do. It's because allies generally are used on higher difficulties to block the villain a fair bit. And we can't really do that. So there's a bunch of different constraints. Remember from seeing other decks, I think it was like 13. That's a reasonable guess. And again, 2 for 13 is already really good. 2 for 13 is absurd. It's basically functionally a board wipe. If you have a 2 for 13, there's like no side schemes and no like minions that survive a 2 for 13. Like that's why this is so good. It just wipes the board back to turn 1. For the villain, not for you. You still have all these allies, which is like pretty good. So the answer is, I'll spoil it, it's 15, which is slightly more than 13, obviously, but it's 2 for 15, which is nonsense. Again, please, if you can figure out how to do 16 plus, let me know. But the idea with this deck is it's a 2 for 15, and this deck is built off of the basis that it can consistently deliver this 2 for 15, and it can get there, yeah, like consistently, but also like, not lose the game. And so if you want to see, the write-up is below, and I talk you through the combo, but we're just going to take a minute, as we always do on this channel, and break down our deck choices and how we got here and some of the ideas of the deck, okay? So, but 2 for 15 is really good. And our goal today is to get a 2 for 15. I think against Unus is like not hard to do it, even in the first cycle of the deck. Unus is our villain that we're playing against today. And I guess it's not on Unus's text box himself, but Unus doesn't want you to be blocking with allies. That's just kind of what the gene pool does. But Unus doesn't put on that much threat, I'm going to say. Knock on wood. So Unus is like a pretty good candidate, as much as like I've gone toe to toe with this deck against some of the more, I think, aggressive villains, and it's worked out pretty good. Again, strength and diversity is a wild card. All right, so Phoenix, this is where we're starting. She has 2 really good traits, Psionic and X-Men. And I actually say Psionic is a really good trait. X-Men is not a really important trait. And a lot of this is just the sort of like trait mapping of like Venn diagrams on top of Venn diagrams. And the idea is that there's a lot of like what I would call primary traits on allies and on heroes. And then there's a lot of secondary traits. X-Men, I would say, is a primary trait. And that's because there's like 40 to 50 X-Men characters. It's not hard to put an X-Men character into your deck. But Psionic, that is the sort of like special trait where there's not that many Psionic characters. So that's kind of valuable, as much as it's very easy. Like there's no character, if I'm not mistaken, that has only Psionic on it. So this is what I mean. It's like there's a lot of characters that have these overlapping primary traits, but then you're trying to hunt down their secondary traits. I don't think there's a lot of characters that only have good secondary traits. It's usually like, oh, you get an Avenger with something. You get a man with something. So just keep that in mind, because the deck is built to overlap as little as possible, despite being slight overlap. Never tried this card before. Going to be interesting to watch. Oh, Robert, you're in for a treat. It's definitely something else. Now, Phoenix's text box is also really good for a couple reasons. Firstly, she has 3 thwart, and that's amazing because barring, of course, minions, 3 thwart means you can just kind of stay afloat against a lot of villains. As long as you're not dying, 3 thwart, and again, minions will be an issue, means you can just thwart 3 every other turn. You can jump down, you can recover, you can do all that sort of stuff, because 3 thwart on the basic, this is the highest basic thwart off of any hero in the history of the game. Very, very good. Now, her ability says remove 1 power counter from Phoenix Force. That's a permanent she starts the game with to generate a wild resource once per phase. That's also very good because she has a built-in resource generator, and that means it's easier to play more allies quickly. That's another really good benefit of why we choose Phoenix. Now for Phoenix Force itself, it's this permanent that starts on the table, and notice that it says you gain the Restrained trait. That's a really big reason why we're playing Phoenix as well, is she has 3 traits. One of them being X-Men, which is a pretty common trait, but then she has Psionic and she has Restrained, which are both harder traits to get. In fact, this is the only way to get Restrained. If I'm not mistaken, there's only 2 heroes in the game that can start with 3 traits on turn 1. I think the other one is Hulkling, who's like Gamma Avenger, or sorry, Avenger Kree Skull. But 3 traits starting on turn 1 is already a really good floor, and we have them, let alone we have a resource generator. Now, Phoenix Force just says that it has counters on it. We can add counters and spend counters. But after the last power counter is removed, we flip this over. Now, we generally try not to flip this over. It can happen. When this is flipped over, we get a new trait, Unleashed, but we lose Restrained. We lose our Thwart, but we get plus attack, and then some of our cards get a lot more powerful. We often don't end up here, but it's a nice way to close the game out because your cards just generally get stronger when you're Unleashed, as much as you do lose your Thwart. Our alter ego is not super important. It just says that after we recover, we can put a counter on Phoenix Force, which is basically an extra resource, which is nice. And we start with the Phoenix Force with Restrained. That's it. We have 3 recovery. We have 9 health. That actually makes us relatively squishy, which is unfortunate. So that's something we have to keep in mind, as much as there's some Phoenix cards that will keep us alive. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to be reading a lot of these Phoenix cards because they're not super important. They're just not. A lot of these cards we don't play. And that's because I don't think they're great cards usually, but also they just don't line up with our game plan. And that's one of the quirks of what's it called? Strength and Diversity, is that a lot of times your player deck, your hero deck, is just outclassed by the Strength and Diversity thing, which does make games a bit samey. It does make you not feel super heroic the way that you'd want to, but yeah, it's both a benefit and a downside. This is Cyclops. He's cheap. We have no reason to play Cyclops because we only have so many ally slots, and he doesn't add any additional traits. So we generally don't play Cyclops, but he's not terrible. A White Hot Room is our like recovery card or alter ego card. It's not bad. It allows us to recover better, and it allows us to put power counters on Phoenix Force. It's okay. We go to alter ego. What is this? This is Rise from the Ashes. This is our don't die button, right? When you would be defeated, don't. It's good text. Not dying is okay. A lot of Phoenix's cards feel a bit too expensive. This card costs 3. It's Phoenix traded though, which is really weird, but I don't think Strength and Diversity cares about our cards. It only cares about our characters, so whatever. A Telekinetic Shield is nice. This is another don't die button, and these are, again, good reasons why we do consider Phoenix, is that all these cards you can attach to a character and then just not take damage for a bit, which allows us to build up. We have Mental Paralysis, which can in theory like lock down a minion. So this attaches the minion cannot activate until you flip down to alter ego. That seems fine. Now these cards I almost never play, and that's because they're very expensive. This is a 3 for 7, but if you have the Unleashed trait, this becomes 3 for 9 with Overkill. 3 for 7, it's okay. 3 for 9 with Overkill is quite good. The problem is like we don't often go Unleashed because it's not usually our game plan to go Unleashed, but this is only really good once you're Unleashed, so we don't often play it. Similarly with Psychic Blast, and these cards are kind of weird compared to some other hero designs. A lot of other hero designs that we've seen where a card does one thing in one mode and another thing in another mode, and it's not just like one is strictly better than the other. It's usually one is just different. Right? Like when you look at Angel to some extent, or who do we play recently? We played Vision. Like Vision's cards sometimes just do different things. These cards just get better when you get Unleashed, which means I'm never excited to play them when they're not Unleashed, which means I'm never excited to play them. So this is 4 damage. If you have Unleashed, deal 4 damage to another minion engaged with you. A 2 for 4 is like not amazing. In fact, it's pretty bad. So you only really want to play this one. It's a 2 for 8, which is very good. But yeah, when you're Unleashed, your attack is already really great. Telepathic Trickery. Again, we're going to go through these quickly. It says remove 4 threat, 2 for 4 from a scheme if you've Unleashed, stun and confuse an enemy. 2 for 4 for stun and confuse is really good. 2 for 4 with no kicker is really bad. That's just not good. We don't often play this card. I'm assuming it looks like the design of Phoenix is you want to actually go Unleashed relatively quickly. You can actually unleash yourself, I'm pretty sure, by getting counters back. But yeah, the way that we've seen these cards are only good if you go Unleashed, which means maybe we should be considering that a bit more. Phoenix Force is a weird card. It's a bit of like, I wouldn't say a can't trip exactly. Oh, excuse me. It's Phoenix Firebird. Phoenix. It's just a little card. A lot of kits have these support cards. So either remove a power counter from Phoenix Force to ready yourself. So functionally it's a 2 cost ready, which is a bit expensive. Or you can place 2 power counters on Phoenix Force. So you're spending 1 to put a power counter. Put 2 power counters, which are 2 resources later. So technically you spend 2 cards to get 1 resource now, but you also 1 resource in later. I don't know. I don't feel strongly about this card. All right, now let's talk about the real stuff. Strength and diversity. This is what the deck is built around. We've already mentioned it at the top of the video. It's so absurdly good. It's flexible. It always solves whatever the problem is in front of you. There's almost no problems that this doesn't solve. And at this, starting as a 2 for 3 with Phoenix, with her Phoenix Force, is already just a good enough floor, surprisingly. But once we play one ally, this becomes a 2 for 6 as soon as turn 1, which is bonkers good. It also has a wild icon on it with it, which is like very flavorfully nice. We're playing 3 copies of it because of course we are. And this is where things start to get really interesting. This is Children of the Atom. It's a 1-cost support that you can play under any player's control, and each X-Factor, X-Force, and X-Men character you control gains all of the other traits. Which means as soon as we just play Children of the Atom, we technically now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 traits. For 1 card installed, we have 5 traits, because now we're Psionic, Unleashed, or Restrained, X-Factor, X-Force, and X-Men. That's really good. And we have no other synergies by having those traits. It's just a 1-cost plus 2 traits, which like, that's not amazing, let's be honest. But the fact that we're a strength and diversity deck, we definitely play this. Technically, too, with this, you can play some other synergy cards that care about it, but our deck is so strength and diversity build, we don't have to go into it too much. This is neat. We have 2 cards from Phoenix's kit that actually interact well with what we're doing as well. Phoenix Suit says Phoenix gains the aerial trait. I'll be honest, that's not super necessary. Aerial is one of those, like, I would say secondary keywords where or maybe actually like a tertiary keyword. There's a lot of characters that are aerial and something else. In fact, in this game, I think there are no characters that are only aerial. So we do have characters in our deck that have aerial. So we don't actually need this aerial trait, but if we get it, it's a bit more flexible. But you don't actually need this because aerial shows up on a lot of characters, especially a lot of like weirdly diversely traded characters. But if we're restrained, we get steady. That's nice. And if we're unleashed, we get retaliate, which I don't like that as much because we can't take that many hits to the face because we only have 9 health and we don't even block that well. So anyways, it's fine. And then there's one more card here, which should be here. Where did it go? No, we'll put it at the back. That's fine. But there's one more card in our kit that really works with us. And now let's talk about the cards we put in our deck to make us do the thing that we want to do. Black Panther is really good and really important. And we're going to start to see a bit of overlap with traits. And again, you are going to have a bit of overlap for sure, but the deck also has to be playable. Like you can't just be super greedy and play only the weirdest characters. It has to have a synergistic deck. And Black Panther just makes so much sense. This 4-cost Avenger and Wakanda is a pretty niche trait, so that's nice to get down. It says, after Black Panther enters play, choose a leadership card in your discard pile and attach it to Black Panther, and then you can play that card as if it were in your hand. Hopefully that's obvious why that's so important for this deck, and as expensive as Black Panther is, this is one of the few ways in leadership you can recur your strength and diversities and play more than 3 per deck cycle. Very, very good, and Wakanda's a net trait, but like just getting that card back, the strength and diversity back, is fantastic. Alice Bear, this is the card that probably should be cut from the deck. She is Posse, which is a really niche trait, but we do have a Wakanda overlap as much as you don't need to have them both on the table at the same time. Yo, Metaphor, how's it going? Good morning. And her ability, we can exhaust Atlas Bear to look at the top card of a player deck. If the card is an event, you may deal 1 damage to Atlas Bear to draw it. We have some really good player cards in our deck, of course, including Strength and Diversity, and Posse and Wakanda are nice traits. She's not incredibly important. Again, I do think she's probably the least necessary card in the deck, but adding Posse is kind of cute, as much as we do have a Wakanda overlap. Now Kalu, another overlap as well, but a very good card for the deck. Very cheap to play, notably. 2-cost allies are very easy to play. And after Kalu enters play, we look at the top 5 cards of our deck for an event and add it to our hand. Now, not only do we have Strength and Diversity, there's another important event we have in our deck, but this gets us Strength and Diversities. And Kalu is an Avenger, which we have a bit of overlap, but also Mystic, which is a nice sort of like secondary, tertiary trait. And he is the only Mystic in our deck. Finally, Blade, and Blade is like not a bad card, but Blade is really, really cheap and has Vampire on top of Avenger. This is the only character that's a vampire in it that we can play in any deck. So for 1 cost, we have an extra slot that gets us generally 1 extra trait, as much as we usually have Kalu or our other Avenger, Black Panther, on the table. This is now those cards, besides Blade, these 3 cards actually have utility, which is why they're in the deck, and they have more than 1 trait, as much as there's some trait overlap. So they're nice workhorse cards, especially Black Panther and Kalu, which give you a lot more consistency than Alice Bear does. All these other cards like Blade, these are just kind of like trait bombs, which are really easy to play, and they're good cards on average, but they just have a lot of traits to get you to that sort of like breakpoints really quickly. Like Vivian. Vivian's just a really good card. She's Aerial, Android, and Champion. Android and Champion are both really nice traits that are not super common. Ariel shows up on herself, but let alone on a lot of other characters. And when she comes in, she can basically blank a non-elite minion or a side scheme or an attachment, which is just fine text. She only thwarts 2 once. Maybe she attacks for 2 twice. But yeah, she's really, really quite good because as soon as turn 1, if we play her, we're on 6 traits, which is fantastic for 2. Similarly, Hugin and Moonin can ready other characters, including ourselves, which is okay. but has Aerial, Asgard, and Bird, and Asgard and Bird are very niche traits. So Hugin and Moonin for 2 costs also is really nice, a way that we can get up to 6 threat or 6 traits as soon as turn 1. The next 2 cards have trait overlap. However, these are very, very easy cards to play, which helps so much for a deck that just wants to play as many characters as possible. Firstly, Grant Ward costs nothing, and I'm pretty sure Shield and Spy are meant to be 2 different traits. If you know, you know. But Grant Ward is one of the cheapest cards to play. And the downside to Grant Ward, actually, we can tackle it because Phoenix can generate, wild resources consistently at least once per phase, which means during the villain phase, we can pay for Grant Ward, and during the hero phase, we can also pay for Grant Ward. Or sorry, just use our ability for something else. Similarly, we have Slingshot, which is another nice interaction when it comes to Phoenix, because Slingshot can enter play for free for an energy resource, let alone she yo-yos back to our hand, which is quite nice because then we have a 6-card hand size as a hero, and that can be flexible to play some other stuff like an ally, like Slingshot, I guess, and then play our Strength and Diversity. She's also Shield Spy, which I'm pretty sure still is 2 traits, but these cards are just really cheap to play as much as you only want 1 on the table because we don't need to have 2 shields or 2 spies. Lastly is New Recruits, and New Recruits is just a really cool card that I've never played. Excuse me, wrong pedal. It's a side scheme that we clear for 2, which we can clear on any turn, and most of our allies can clear this. Actually, not true. Some of our allies can clear this. Only play if you're in X-Men, which we are in hero mode. And when defeated, each player chooses 1 set-aside new ally and adds it to their hand. And there are 4 new allies, as much as I've only been playing Bling. And the big reason why we do this, well, a couple things. Firstly, new is a trait that shows up on nothing. New is only on these cards, so that's a nice new trait. But also, these cards don't count towards your ally limit, which means we can just put more allies on the table. That's a big issue, is that we're locked by the allies that we can play, and Bling just comes in. The X-Men trait already we have. Of course, we don't need that. But the new trait is just a new trait, and it's slotless, so why not? Bling comes in with a toughness, which is sick, because we don't block that well, so we'll take this. I don't know who this is. This is Roxanne Washington, so yeah, she's great. We'll take Bling. The other cards, one is better at thwarting, one's better at attacking, but toughness actually lines up really well with us. Now, last thing I want to say this is mind control. And academically, what we're doing with this deck is we're not trying to consider ourselves or consider the encounter deck, but mind control can attach to a non-elite minion. We get control of that minion. They become a controlled ally, which is a new trait that doesn't exist on any or most other cards. I think there might be 1 or 2 controlled cards, but also we get the traits of that minion, I'm pretty sure. So we can add to our roster of Strength and Diversity things like Hydra or like Marauder or whatever you want, which is really quite cool. But I'm not going to count this towards our 15 plus. Because technically this can go above 15 because of this, because this can actually get like a totally weird amount of traits. Everything else is support, and like there's not many other cards in our deck. We have the Triskelion because we want extra ally slots, no surprise. This card is really quite good, and so the other event that we're happy to grab with our deck with things like Kalu. Strength and Diversity says exhaust any number of allies you control to draw 1 card for each ally exhausted this way. And as you might know, we want to keep our allies in play. So when they have 1 health left, we don't want to attack or thwart with them so they're defeated to consequential. We just want to keep them as a draw engine. So that on any turn, we can tap like 3 of our allies to draw 3 cards. And if that finds a Strength and Diversity, we're winning the game. It's that simple. So strength in numbers, the other strength in our deck, is just really, really quite powerful and a very, very good card to push us forward by having a diverse, let alone wide board. Call for backup. We're playing the old art because it's X-Men themed. This one probably makes a lot of sense. A 3 threat means we can clear this on a turn with Phoenix herself, and then we can go grab any ally. So we can grab the ally with the most traits that we need or that we have or don't have. The most card that I most commonly get with this is Black Panther. And that's just because Black Panther is most expensive, but also because Black Panther can almost always grab a call for, Strength for Diversity, which is really, really important. Everything else is just resources. The X-Jet, because it's good. We have 1 band together. You could play 2. This could be where the Atlas Spare slot is, but this generates no resources. But once you have allies, generates 1 resource for each ally type you have. A shout out to things like Beast, which I think show up a lot of times with band together or even with call for backup. The thing is, I don't want to play Beast because it only has 1 trait we care about, which is Genius, and that's okay. Honestly, might not be the worst. I think actually there's a chance that Beast is better than our Posse Wakanda Atlas Bear. Rapid Response, yeah, I don't play a lot of Rapid Response. Rapid Response is like a really, really good card because it just brings your ally back. And Rapid Responsing, like, what's his name, is really good. Black Panther? Does Black Panther work on play from hand, or is Black Panther just enter play? Because sometimes they fix that. Oh, not you. Enters play. So that should work if I'm not mistaken. So I could see actually cutting this for a Rapid Response for sure. Rapid Response is just a very, very good card. I don't play a lot of it because I don't love ally recursion, but yeah. Beast is OP as he grabs your band together whenever he plays. Yeah, I could see that. I think we should make those changes. Genius is also not bad. I forgot that he had Genius. I thought he was just X-Men, and like X-Men's not something we want to play. But Genius X-Men is okay. So I could see us making that change really quickly. We only have 1 band together, We have 2 Power of Leaderships because we have a fair bit of leadership cards. As much as some of them are cheap, we don't have that many expensive leadership cards. We just want to get our cards on the table. We're playing the X-Men art. And then we have Strength, Genius, and Energy, in which we have Phoenix on it herself. Energy X-Men, is this going to work? No? Do I not have this X-Men art? I must. Civil War Shield X-Men. Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. Beast is OP, excuse me. Fun card with superpower training, love mind control. Ooh, so you can just grab it when you want to off the side scheme. That's really cool. I haven't messed with that enough, but it is an expensive upgrade, and you do love grabbing expensive upgrades with this thing, right? Identity specific upgrade, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I think we could try the beast change. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. So if that's the case, we have to cut 2 cards if we want to do beast and or rapid response. My guess is the worst cards in the deck are probably Atlas Bear. So we can cut Atlas Bear for beast. I don't know if we could put a rapid response in here. I really do want to play 40 cards because it is a combo deck at the end of the day. Like, you want to find your strength and diversities as commonly as possible. So I think that's the only change we're going to make here. Yeah, that's probably it. Let me just get them really quickly. If you cheated nowhere into play with build support, you can increase your ally slot, which is guess could exceed the trade trace. I don't know if it's worth it. Wait, actually? Does nowhere just give you a blank? I thought you only have to be guardians for nowhere. Yeah. Oh, whoa, you're right. We could do more than 15. Oh no. So we'd have to cheat this out with like the one that puts a support into play. So we could go over 15. No, I'm wrong. You're right. When you play player side schemes, they leave your deck. So technically you have 40 if you go to 41 lol. I mean, technically, but then we also could play 39 instead of 40. So this one you can cheat and play by playing, what's it called? The neutral side scheme that allows you to put a support into play. It doesn't care about the text on the support. It just puts into play. So we don't play it. We put into play, which means we actually get our ally limit up by 1. So nowhere is actually something we can do. Huh. Okay. So, wow. Is the thesis wrong that quickly? Why did I not stumble into this? I think I searched all the increase your ally limit cards, but yeah, supports you can cheat into play, upgrades you can't. Build support allows you to put in play. This is a ruling that a lot of people don't like, from my understanding. But this is, when defeated, each player may search the deck for a discard pile for support with a cost of 3 or less and put it into play, which means you don't actually care about cards that have a play restriction. It's like the way that you can get the X-Jet into play or the Quinn Carrier into play if you don't have those traits. Actually, the X-Jet's not a good example because it doesn't work, because it cares about working. But the other one does, like Quinn Carrier means you can cheat the Quinn Carrier in on anyone. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. That's fine. Okay, cool. I'm not upset. It's beast. All right, Alice Bear's out. As little as Alice Bear has seen play ever. So yeah, okay, say that we wanted to put nowhere in here. And like nowhere, that's another issue, is like nowhere's not a great card for us because we don't have any guardian allies. I guess we would want to put a guardian ally into the deck. So we need a guardian ally with good traits on it. I think there's no guardian ally that has more than 1 extra trait, but still, if we add a guardian with an extra trait, the question is, what's the extra trait? So we'd have to look at leadership and guardian cards. Rogue can cheat in a lot of stuff into play. It's her thing. I play so little Rogue because I don't think she's interesting when it comes to solo, but it's a pretty wild ruling. I mean, it's like cohesive, or it's like, it makes sense is all I'm saying. I'm not surprised that that's the ruling because the game does a fair bit of effort distinguishing between put into play and play. So like, I don't know if they did it intentionally, but it is a result of the way that they worded things. So in terms of guardians, the only guardians we have in leadership have only guardian as text. So like Major Victory is not a bad card, but like the only trait is guardian. Yondu is very expensive, not a card we want to play, only has guardian on it. So we have to look at the neutral guardians because there's just not any guardians that have text that we care about. And I don't know if 2 deck slots to play 1 card, let alone 3 deck slots because we have to build support, is probably worth it. But you're right, academically, it means you can get another trait. In terms of the guardians here, though, a lot of the neutral guardians you just can't play because they're trait locked by guardianship, right? Like Rocket Raccoon. Not you. It says like only plays if you're guardian yourself. So we can't play Rocket, we can't play Groot. They're all guardian locked. It would have to be something like Martin X, who's not amazing. Cosmo, actually Cosmo's not the worst because Cosmo technically works with what we're trying to do, which is like rip through our deck. So when Cosmo attacks with thwarts, name a card type, then discard the top card of the deck. If the card's the name type, Cosmo does not take. Okay, that's not what we want. I forgot Cosmo doesn't draw. So like, yeah, we could do it. I just don't know if it's amazing. Love your leadership folder. Thank you. We spent a lot of time. There's a lot of conversation on Discord about like organizing by release date, and apparently I'm a weirdo. But like, no, no, this is good. Yeah, bummer. You're playing Prof X, right? No, we're not. And it's because he doesn't really have traits, and he doesn't work well with what we're trying to do. We have both the Psionic and the X-Men trait, and he only stays for a single turn. That being said, it allows us to jump down, and there's a chance that like overall that makes us play better, you know, Marvel champions or smoother Marvel champions. But ultimately, like that is not text we want. I'm probably wrong though. Gambit's also wild in strength and diversity, but he has no text. Doesn't he just have X-Men? Oh, he has Thief. I don't know if we want to play a slot for one trait. We could. From my testing so far, we haven't need like cards like this, knock on wood, that are just like, you know, value cards. It's more so the card has to do one of two things. Either make us better playing strength and diversity or be easy to put on the table so strength and diversity is better. It's usually not we need just a value option, which like Gambit is obviously very good. Okay, I'm going to have this here, this here. This will be us using our once per turn ability, which I'll forget to do. And then this will be this. Let me shuffle this. Hey, Christian, how's it going? How's it going for your regular aspect cards? Sorry, how are you doing? I organize my set releases too. It's a Canadian thing. Spider-Ham is good too if you call for backup or make the call him into play. Because Spider-Ham has I don't play Spider-Ham. After Spider-Ham attacks or thwarts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon, discard this way, deal 1 damage to Spider-Ham. Takes no consequential, but it's gonna like maybe one-shot himself. My LGS does current, and I got to keep up with that current meta fluff. What's current like? Because like I'll be honest, when it comes to Marvel Champions, and like please let me know if you're watching this and you're in the game and you want to see more content when it comes to the current format. And the current format is meant to be like the last like 3 years of products or something. Currently, it's pun intended. It seems like an artificial format, like it's a format of convenience as opposed to a format that was like holistically designed around. At least now, I think in a couple of years, I'll be different where currents are embraced by the design of Marvel Champions. But yeah, let me know if that's something you want to see, because it's not something I consider. Like we're already playing Phoenix, so I'm pretty sure it's not in the current format. But what's weird is when it came to Arkham Horror, I think I'm going to be playing the current format. And that is a game where I've been playing since day one when the original core set came out in 2016. And I own everything, including like Barkham. Like I have all the Return to boxes. I'm like a hardcore collector. And that's because I actually appreciate being limited by my card pool. But weirdly, this game, I don't appreciate being limited by my card pool. This game just like seems more fun when you can do weirder and wilder stuff. Like we're playing Strength and Diversity. But when it comes to Arkham Horror, yeah, I was getting tired of playing the same cards over and over again. Current games are long and very grindy, and as a format of convenience, or just take the words out of my mouth. Why? You can't just close games in the format? I'm not into current. I spent a lot of money on this game. The idea is damn near insulting. Okay, so like I wouldn't say it's insulting. Like I know where you're coming from, and I've definitely felt that before. But I do think there's something interesting about having a curated environment. It's the same thing for like any LCG. Like back in the day, Netrunner and modernly Null Games is Netrunner. Also, the same thing where like there is a rotation in the standard format. That doesn't mean that there's no formats where you can play every card that you want to, or play, you know, cube draft or whatever. But the fact that like the game changes and like what cards you're able to play and what problems you have to answer, I honestly think that's something I am excited for rotations. It's true that some of my favorite cards I haven't played in years because they haven't been in standard for years, but you're right. For a game like this where it could just be you playing in your, you know, on your dining room table, it feels maybe a bit artificial. For your regular aspect cards, do you have them 1 by 1 or 3 in one pocket? Oh, for your aspect cards, it's a mix. So, Christian. So I have binders in all colors. These, obviously the allies are only one ofs. These are spread out with 3 on a page, and they just spread out like that, right? That works, and that's because there's only so many currently leadership cards. When it comes to neutral or basic, these, I have to have 3 in each pocket, and then I don't put anything in the back. Technically, this is more dense, so you can have more cards and fewer pages. I am running out of space, it turns out, like I'll have an issue in a year or so. But this is 3 cards in a single slot. This is fine. It doesn't seem to damage the cards, and I actually use Dragon Shield sleeves, which are thicker, as much as that isn't a Dragon Shield sleeve. But putting 3 on one side and 3 on the other side was too much. And in the other binder, there's only 2 per slot, right? But it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So this is technically better on cards per page, but I can't put them in the back. It's a compromise. But we're at the point where I'm going to need 2 basic binders, and I really do not like that world. And that's like maybe one of the benefits, excuse me, I spit, for the current format is like, I don't want to have 2 binders of basic cards. Absolutely an artificial format to justify having products go out of print. Arkham 2.0 just makes current make more sense. And Ryan, the weird thing is I was looking at Arkham 2.0 because I've been updating my library of Arkham cards, and like the current format seems not awful. Like there's just enough cards that have support packages. You get some weird stuff where like Alessandra Zorzi doesn't have access to like the fine clothes, and like definitely they were balanced around that. But yeah, it still feels like there's a couple archetypes that are well represented, which is neat. Andre has a smidge of OCD and we're all here for it. Look, I spent a lot of time organizing cards. I spent, again, like 7 hours this weekend cutting up and like cutting the corners off of PNGs like Spider-Ham here and labeling every single Arkham Horror card for the last 3 years. And it's so satisfying. I played Wonder Man and Hercules. Jackson, how's it going? And current, and neither were grindy for me. It does, however, feel like any aspect you want to run is going to lean to the best available cards. Yes. And that's like a weird thing. It's like you think a smaller card pool would make you play more cards. Sometimes it makes you play less cards. It plays fewer cards. Like maybe that's intuitive, but it's like not always intuitive. It's like, oh, the card I'm going to have to like saying I'm going to take away some of your tools, so now you're going to have to explore a bigger card pool. Sometimes it leads to the opposite, where it's like, oh no, now I actually just rely on these same cards in 90% of games as opposed to 40% of games. And I think there's a chance that that's going to happen. Yeah. How do you organize the villains? So I'm a big player of campaign mode. So my villains are just with their cards in the boxes they come with. So I guess I'll show this. So I have the Burger Tokens boxes. These are the 22s. So I always have a hero in their whole kit sleeved with their nemesis in there. And then if I want to pick a hero, I just pick up the box. These are quite nice. You also have these in 30s for bigger hero kits, but these are the 22 sleeved. They're a bit thick with Dragon Shield sleeves. But then every box has the villains and their encounter cards, and then any encounter cards that came around the same time. So like, look, next we'll do the 4 Horsemen, and then after that it's Apocalypse, and they're just in the boxes. Because I usually play a campaign, so if I want to play Age of Apocalypse, I pick up the Age of Apocalypse box. This will also have in it Mojo, because it came out at the same time, and any extra encounter sets that came around that same time will be in here too, which I don't know if they are. And then I just keep those boxes around. They updated the current form in Arkham to just be the chapter 2, so right now current is just the core box? Fuck off. No way, Ryan. Really? I spent so much time this weekend grabbing cards for the last... Are you kidding me? Is current only the chapter 2? What are players meant to play if they're playing current? There's 3 scenarios. Are you kidding me? Imagine playing Silk and not having access to the vast majority of Web Warrior cards. Yeah, and like maybe you can say that's why they reprinted Peter Parker and why they reprinted, you know, Across the Spider-Verse or whatever they did. But you're right. It's like there's a huge different power level with those cards. And like, I don't know if those were play tested like that, or it seems kind of like convenience. They probably should have waited until they had 3 waves that had more overlap. End of X-Men, Shield, and Avengers as your only card pool to work with is rough. Yeah, that's a good point, Sniper. Is that the last 3 waves are not incredibly well matched in theme and mechanics. I keep all the additional hero mod sets and scenario packs with the boxes, just easier to go and grab and play. Yeah, I think that's similar to what I do, right? Yeah, that's my organization. It's been fine. I like it, but I usually play campaign mode. Like if it's Andre on like a Tuesday night and he wants to play Marvel Champions, he builds a deck, he grabs a box, he plays the campaign. So everything he needs in the same spot. As much as he's not super adventurous, why am I talking about myself in like second or third person? When it comes to like grabbing different encounter sets and modding, he usually plays stock standard. Why am I still talking about myself in second person? Film Theory did a video showing what was available, and I will never play current at home. Oh no. Oh no. All right, let's play Unus. I think Unus is in the current format. There's no way of knowing. I don't know what current is, it turns out. Unus is great. I play a lot of Unus. Unus is like my second most played villain. And it's just because Unus is fine. Great, how's it going? I forgot what that button does that. This is Unus. Unus has 15 health and toughness. Oh, in the Arkham Horror stream, I added a button on my foot pedal that takes this card and makes it bigger so it takes up the middle of the screen. It'll only be a matter of time before I do that here for Marvel Champions. It seems so much more necessary for Arkham Horror because Arkham Horror has a lot of cards that have a lot of text on them because they're like narrative cards. But yeah, I will implement it so we can make Unus take up the middle of the screen. So if we want to read Unus, it'll be easier. Cool, I guess, whatever. Unus comes in with 15 health and toughness. We're playing on expert. And Unus, the amount of counters on Gene Pool, which counts up 1 per turn, will unlock or unlock different traits. So right now we have Retaliate. We'll get Stalwart eventually, which our deck doesn't really care about too much. Getting an Amplify icon is pretty bad, so watch out for that. Our scheme here is hunting the gene traders. Hunting gene traders. That's really funny because our name is Gene. We're going to play stock standard. So what we're looking at here is Unus, who has these infinite hunters, which really mess us up. They're very bad because they delete allies, and we love our allies. The infinites has this gene pool, which means we don't want to be blocking with our allies, and it has infinite soldiers, a whole bunch of them, so we want to keep the threat down. And then Dystopian Nightmare is just like a fun set that makes you jump down every once in a while. It's pretty okay. So to reveal the gene pool, if we're playing expert, give ourselves a face down counter card. If only this was a gene pool deck. Yeah, right? The name of this, I'm hoping people understand the reference to the name of this deck. This deck name was an idea from my good friend Pat. I grew up at the era in high school where the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants were like a book series, let alone they had the movie in theaters. And I read all of them because at the time we were reading those. Video skills, thank you. This game has so many team-based themes that I just don't think a current environment will ever be useful or compelling. I guess if you play a lot of versus Civil War, it reigns in the power level. I mean, I guess, yeah. Yeah, current in this game is like not for me, but weirdly for Arkham, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm in. As much as if the current is just the core set, I'm like not super excited. We'll give ourselves an encounter card. I often do forget that. Gene pool is on the table. Comes in with 4 threat. After an ally is defeated by anything other than consequential, so damage, blocking, retaliate, all that sort of stuff, we have to put 3 threat here, and that's really bad because about, I would say 1/5 of the encounter cards in this deck, maybe slightly higher, actually scale with that, let alone so does Unus. Now, relatively high breakpoint on this thing, 11. It doesn't come in with any threat, but at least we have Gene Pool to deal with. And it says force response after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 threat on Gene Pool, which is cute because Gene Pool shows up in a couple places. This is the one where it's like the most immediately threatening. That's it. That is it. We have to put 4 counters on our Phoenix Force. Again, we can use these for a resource once per turn. And we're Jean Grey. Her text is not super relevant. Oh man, I'm so used to hitting the wrong pedal. I'm going to slide this over. And that should be it. Again, setup. This technically happens after we mulligan, I think. I don't think it really matters. But we put this into play. Currently, we have 3 traits. I'm going to see if we have to keep spending time recounting our traits on every time that we do this. If we do, I'll put a die or dice in front of me to make sure that we know how many traits we currently have access to. But right now it's 3. We already have 3 traits on turn 1. Response after you make a basic recovery, place 1 power counter on Phoenix Force. Notably, you cannot recover if you're at full health. That is a ruling. So you do have to sometimes get a bit hurt. And we don't mind recovering. We don't mind recovering. All right, hand size 6, let's go. First, Vivian. This is what I mean. As soon as turn 1, we have a 2 for 6. If we go find our strength and diversity. Power of leadership. Both of these cards are probably keeps. Power of leadership is obviously only good with something that works with it, but this is the other art. We'll keep it. Call for backup, really quite good. We can clear this on turn 1, and we don't have that much we want to do on turn 1. There's a chance we can clear the gene pool, but this means we can go grab Beast, and Beast can go grab our other card, or we can go grab get a strength and diversity. Actually, we can't get a strength and diversity unless it's in our discard pile if we want to grab Black Panther. Gonna have to watch actual gameplay later since I have to go, but good luck with the game. Thank you, Sniper. I'm gonna have to I'll post it twice, but thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for dropping in. Hopefully you're doing well. Cool. Beast. Oh, I'm not happy about that, but we always discard Beast to play the call for backup and pull him in. We'll see if we need to. Phoenix Firebird. This is a card, again, I don't really care about this one that much, like most of the Phoenix cards, and we've been energy. So really cool here because we can do Power of Leadership and Energy into Beast. Beast can go grab a card that can generate 2 resources. We can play Vivian. Then we can just play Call for Backup. In theory, we could fire Call for Backup and we could get another ally. But I think just playing these 2 and then we can deal with Gene Pool with our 3 thwart is like a really good start. We often remember we have an extra resource too, so we might be able to do something tricky here. But I don't think we actually have to do much more than this. The other cards we're looking for here is Strength and Diversity. Finding Children of the Atom is also like just a nice card to get down. Finding an early X-Jet's good. Hold on, I just heard my partner in the other room, something my cat was doing, but it seems fine. I think this is honestly pretty good, right? Like we have a lot of resources in the deck. So aggressively mulliganing, we can watch out. We can end up with a hand with only resources. But Beast is going to grab Vivian for free, and then we can play Call for Backup. We can just pass. In fact, there's a chance we can play Phoenix Firebird. I don't think we really need to, but I'm just going to full keep this hand because it seems like a really good setup. Hey, friend. Hey, Javisong. Or maybe it's Javisong. Maybe it's Habishong. I don't know. Happy Easter. How are you doing? Well, I jumped in the stream. What's today's deck tech? So today we're catching up on something I should have done a while ago. And we've already posted this deck up on Marvel CDB. This is the Sisterhood of the Traveling Genes, which is a deck which shows off strength and diversity and tries to maximize the number of how many fires we can have off that card. It's our first game, so you're just in time. All right, there's nothing we have to do in alter ego, so we're just gonna flip up. You can recover full health, my brother in Christ. No, there's no shot you can. I thought they ruled that you can't. Wait, can you? Show me a ruling. There's no way that you can with Dapper. I thought it's like you can't scheme when there's no threat on the table. Or is that the change that you can do it now? All right, we're gonna flip over. We're no longer in the gene pool. We're Phoenix. We thwart for 3. We can remove a power counter to get access to a wild, which is good. Is this deck from the Boom Guy episode? Exactly, that's the deck. So we're gonna do Power of Leadership for 2. We're gonna do Energy for 2, and we'll play the newly added Beast. So Beast says, when you play Beast, or after it enters play, which is nicer, you can search your deck and discard pile for a resource. So we can go ahead and take a resource out of our deck, or we can go just grab the energy we have in our discard pile right now. And I think I'm just going to do that because I'm going to use it to play Viv. So let's just zoom out here. This is turn 1. In terms of the amount of icons or traits we have Psionic, X-Men, Restrained, Genius, Aerial, Android, Champion. We have 7 traits on turn 1. If we had a Strength and Diversity in hand, like it's really, really quite good. Notably, also Unus has Retaliate, and Strength and Diversity is not an attack, so it does beat Retaliate. Like these are all very, very good angles of interaction. I thought the ruling was just about Wonderman. Oh no, Wonderman is different because they actually are rotting Wonderman's whatever his upgrade is called. Hey, ruled that Peter Porker can get a tune counter, so I guess Gene can get a power counter. Game state changes. Game state changes? Hold on. There's no shot. I'd be really happy if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure that you can't recover if you're at full health. Just like you can't stun, or sorry, you can't thwart if you're not confused and there's no threat. Where's my mouse? Why is this? Okay, hold on. Recover? Uh-oh, it's frozen. Sorry. So we have to do studio mode, overlay, campaign guide, rules reference. It's frozen. It's not updating. I'm scrolling down and you're not seeing it. Properties. I can't change the properties. There we go. Okay, so should do this better at some point in the future. Recovery power can be used by a character to perform a basic recovery and heal damage from them. Generally, only owls or eagles have recovery. Yeah, okay. See also modifiers recover. See also, okay. Yeah. Okay, recover is a basic power that can be used in alter ego. To recover, the player exhausts their alter ego, and here's the number of hit points. An identity has no damage to heal cannot perform a basic recovery. I'm pretty sure they changed that. It's not in red text, so it doesn't seem to be new. But yeah, if you have no damage, you cannot heal. You can't do it. This does come up and sometimes does stop you. Specifically, if you're playing Sidekick and you want to recover, if you're at full health, you can't recover to fix your Sidekick. Right? Because you can't make a basic recovery if you're at full health, even if it changes the game state by healing your ally, at least from my understanding. Let me know if that's not correct, but I remember that being a problem running into in Sidekick decks, so it kind of stuck with me. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to throw 3 onto the gene pool. And now this is because of the 1 threat. This loses Retaliate. So we're just going to use Vivian to take the toughness off. We're not really damage maxing here, but Beast will attack for 2. And then we're going to go ahead and play Phoenix Force for call for backup. In theory, we could rush out and like try and get rid of our Phoenix Force as soon as possible. I mean, I don't know if we need to. But as soon as we clear this, we can grab Beast next turn. Or if we defeat Beast somehow. And that's it. It's a 2 encounter turn, so it's a bit scary. Here we go. Black Panther. Okay, so Black Panther is only really good if we have a card in their discard pile that we care about. Unfortunately, currently we don't, because it has to be a leadership card and it has to be a leadership event. So we'll see if we find a Strength and Diversity here, which would be really good with a 2 encounter turn if we find a minion. This card we don't love. Telepathic Trickery. It's a 2 for 4. Meh. Hugin and Moonin. We get some cheap readies. There we have it. So we might be able to do a double Strength and Diversity this turn, because clearing call for backup is actually kind of sick. And then we have a slingshot. So yeah, I mean, this is turn 2. We can do probably like a 2 for 7, 2 for 9, somewhere around there. It's gonna be quite good. All right, so this goes to 1. This goes to 2. Unus is attacking us for just 2 and a card. We don't mind taking the first attack to the face. Oh, why are you the villain? Villain name Unus? Yeah, hold on. Villain Unus? Why? Uh-oh. Hold on, something's broken. 15 health. We did 2 damage. Okay. So if I hit this... Yeah, Claw doesn't come up anymore. Okay, good. So Unus is attacking for 2 and a card. 1, 2. 3/4 on Infinite Prelude. This card's really scary. It scales and is another one of those like multi attacks. So we just take 4 damage. So we're at half health already, which is not great. So we're down to 5. We can jump down relatively easy to recover because 11's a pretty high limit and Unus doesn't scheme that hard. All right, Prelude Sidearm. So this will attach to him. This is a weird card because it just makes blocking with allies even worse, which was already not good. So after Unus attacks and defeats an ally, place 1 threat on Gene Pool. It's something we didn't want to do anyways, so like not a big deal. But he does attack for 3. Getting rid of this is probably worth something. Calling the Weak. Okay, this just adds more threat. So place 4 threat on the Gene Pool. So this hits 6. When this hits 6, we have 2 breakpoints on Unus, has Stalwart and has Retaliate. Let alone all now the cards in the deck where they're infinite soldiers, they're a fair bit worse. At 3, they have Quick Strike, but at 6, it's a really big breakpoint because they have Surge, and we don't want that to happen. So all we want to do on this turn is clean the board out, and I think we can just clean the board out and jump down to Alter Ego. We just have to be able to like make this turn make sense. So if we start here with the Strength and Diversity, and we have another wild resource here that we can get, but Strength and Diversity at this point again is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is already a 2 for 7. If we are able to play Black Panther, we can play Strength and Diversity again. So the way that we'd have to do that, though, is get Black Panther into our discard pile so we can grab it with Call for Backup, and then we can clear Call for Backup just to be able to play this twice. So in theory, what we can do, if I'm not mistaken, is we can play Black Panther and Telepathic for Strength and Diversity. Then we can use ourselves to clear Call for Backup. Let alone Strength and Diversity will clear Call for Backup. Then it lets us play Black Panther, which grabs the Strength and Diversity. Oh, it actually doesn't because the Strength and Diversity is resolving. So then we'll use Phoenix to clear this, and then we'll play 2 Strength and Diversities in the same turn. I think that's what we're going to do here, and I think it's actually pretty sick. Again, if we play 2 for this, Black Panther enters play, and then we can actually play Hugin and Moonin first. The issue is that we're actually locked on ally slots. So yeah, Genius X-Men is not as good as Shield Spy. So I think we'll just play Slingshot first. So with Beast, we don't want to attack into the Retaliate. Actually, no, attacking to the Retaliate is fine. It's totally acceptable because he dies to Consequential because the Retaliate happens first. So if I'm not mistaken, again, this is 2. This plays Beast. Oh, but we want to play the Strength and Diversity again this turn, but we don't have to. It'll be ready waiting on him next turn. But then Black Panther's in play. We're going to be at 3 allies. Yeah, this seems fine. So if I'm not mistaken, Beast will attack for 2 into Unus, taking Retaliate. Then is defeated to Consequential, which is acceptable. Then we'll pay an energy to play Slingshot the cheap way. I think we're maybe wasting Phoenix Force's turn or not using it. Then we're going to spend these 2, and they do go into the discard bin immediately to play Strength and Diversity. And so now in terms of our icons that we have, again, we have Phoenix, so she's Psionic, X-Men, Restrained, Shield, Spy, Aerial, Android, Champion. So we have 8 already on turn 2. So we'll do 6 here, 7 here, we'll do 1 on Unus. Then we will thwart for 3, onto Call for Backup. We'll clear Call for Backup. And when we clear Call for Backup, we remove it from the game and we can grab an ally. So we're going to go grab Black Panther and put it into play. And the good thing about Black Panther is I believe its text works in this interaction. So it says when Black Panther enters play, she's a leadership event. So we have a Strength and Diversity pinned down on it for next turn. Moved my health die to another cart. So I'm always reaching over here when they're down here now. We'll see if it makes sense. That's good. We're already in a pretty good spot. We're going to probably jump down and recover next turn. Unus can scheme for 2 in a card, no problem. Black Panther, we don't really have to do anything with. In theory, he can thwart once. So that'll probably be a next turn problem. We definitely are going to use Slingshot. Mind you, we lost these 2. So we're going to do 4 damage to the villain. And I think that's mostly it. We'll just jump down to Alter Ego. And that's it. Oh, this is our ability to use Phoenix Force. I guess I'll put it on Phoenix Force. That'll be easier to remember. And we'll pass. So we're going to draw 6 cards, and then Slingshot's going to fire, so we're going to have a 7-card hand here. So here we go. New recruits, nice. Should be able to clear that and get another ally, which is nice. That one doesn't take up our ally slot. Cool. We have Blade, who's a cheap Avenger, which we have Avengers already, but that's fine. Genius. Telekinetic Shield, that's a really good card just to put on ourselves, let alone you can put it on an ally. Not you. Telekinetic Attack. And now a Band Together. The Band Togethers are really good. The issue is we don't have anything really expensive to play with it. So we might use the Band Together just to replace Slingshot because she's coming back to our hand. All right. There's still advances in the deck. This goes to 1. This goes to 1. Unus schemes for 2 and a card. 1, 2. Boost on Call of the Week. I think it confuses us. No, place 2 threat on Gene Pool. Okay, so it goes to 3, which means he gains Retaliate. 1 encounter card. Hunted, that's perfect, because this we can just get rid of immediately. It doesn't do anything. So this Treachery just says alter ego, discard a card from hand to discard this card. Not too bad. Okay, so the issue is we only have 3 ally slots. So Genius is just a double. Not amazing. We actually could clear new recruits first. And if we clear new recruits with Black Panther, then we can go get our ally, play our ally, and then we have a better band together. So I think that's what we do. So new recruits will be cleared by Black Panther. That means we'll have 3 allies because we'll play that ally with a Genius. Then we can go ahead and band together a Slingshot, which leaves us with these cards. 1 card will clear Hunted, and then I think we'll just play Telekinetic Shield and we won't kill about the Prelate Sidearm. Should main go up to 3? Yes. Should go up to 4. No, to 3. Yeah. How did I mess that up? Yeah, good catch. Yeah, I was so convinced of putting that to 3. I forgot to put that to 3. Yeah, but he schemed for 2. Yeah, 1 was way too low. Yeah, good catch. Yeah, I forgot to place a threat. You move or counter, I think, from using the power in Phoenix Force. We didn't use the Phoenix Force last turn. Jerome, how's it going, by the way? Salut. We didn't actually use the Phoenix Force last turn. We floated. So I don't think we used the counter because we ended up pitching. The only card we played from Phoenix Force was Hugin Moonin, or sorry, not for Phoenix Force, for what's her name, for Slingshot. I mean, this hand seems pretty good. We're gonna just go spend a card to get rid of Hunted. We can recover here for 3. So we're going to go up to 3, and when we use we can place a power counter on Phoenix Force. But this is a really smooth turn. I don't think we're playing Strength and Diversity this turn, though. Maybe we do. We'll flip up. Then we will play new recruits, which is free. Has 2 threat on it. We can only play this as an X-Men, and when we clear it, we can go grab a new character, which is fine. And then we're just going to use Black Panther here to thwart 2 off the new recruits, and we'll grab a new ally. We're going to grab Bling, which maybe that's a reason why we didn't have to recover. Now, this is not on the table. It's in our hand. So Bling is in our hand, and she doesn't take up a slot, and she has toughness, which is really nice. So we can not have to take a hit here. Then we'll spend a Genius on Bling. So 2 health and toughness. The other allies, 1 gives you +1 attack, 1 gives you +1 thwart. The other one gives you... Actually, we should just look at them. So Indica has 4 hit points, which that's fine. That's value option. I guess we'll pull them up. Indra, excuse me. Wow. So that's fine. We have Surge. She just has +1 attack. So she's a 2 health, 3 attack, which doesn't seem amazing. And then we have Anil that has +1 thwart. My favorite are probably Indra and Bling, just because they stay around for longer. But the best thing with Bling, of course, is we have a toughness. All right. Then we're going to do Band Together. And because we have 3 allies, Band Together generates 3 resources, which is quite nice. And now we have Slingshot, and she's going to be on the table for longer this time. And now we have a choice. We can get rid of the Prelate Sidearm. We can play Strength and Diversity, which at this point will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like it's a 2 for 11 on turn 3. And again, this is what I mean. It is absurd. But it's a 2 for 11 on turn 3 that can just clear the board. Or we can just go ahead and play Telekinetic Shield and then just set up for next turn. I mean, I don't think we have to do a 2 for 11 now, so I don't think we are. So I'm just going to spend a Phoenix Force counter to play Telekinetic Shield, and we'll attach it to ourselves. An attached character would take damage from an enemy attack, so you can't prevent consequential. You put the damage on this, and then if there's at least 5 damage, it cracks. We're going to do the same way that we do on allies, that there's 5 health on it. You just have to keep in mind it can block more than 5 health, because whatever it takes it to destroy it, all that health will be canceled. We're just going to use Slingshot to thwart 2 on this, so we don't have to worry about any of the minions, and then we'll pass. Here we go. 1, 2. We're looking, yeah, Strength and Numbers is really good here. Psychic Blast is whatever. But we're at the point now we can do a double Strength and Diversity turn, which means we might be able to like knock out, like you can knock out Unus 2 in a single turn very easily with double Strength. Rise from the Ashes. Don't die button. Grant Ward. We don't need Grant Ward. We already have our Shield Spy, so that's good. And 5th card is the X-Jet. So unfortunately, we didn't draw our next copies of Strength and Diversity. There's still 2 in the deck. But with Strength and Numbers, we can definitely exhaust Black Panther, Vivian, and maybe Bling. Actually, no, Bling will be exhausted. Actually, maybe we don't exhaust Bling, and we just use Bling on Strength and Numbers, and we use our Telekinetic Shield here, because Bling can stay on the table. We're not going to be decking out anytime soon. So 4 goes to 2. The villain's attacking for 3 and a card. We will just take it to the face with telekinetic shield. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's perfect because that just drops it down to 1, so we can block another attack. 1 encounter card. That was an Infinite Soldier. Prelate Armor. So this one's very similar. This says whenever schemes, I think you put a threat on everything. So after Unus schemes, give him a tough status card. Okay, that's fine. Hey there, just found your channel. Recently glad to make a live stream. Hey, Infectious Zombie, welcome to the stream. We started a bit late today, but hopefully you all. Welcome to the channel. I don't know how you found it. We don't really advertise this too well, but I'm glad you made it. It's hopefully a good time. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. If we draw both copies of Strength and Diversity off of the Strength and Numbers, we win the game this turn. It's that good, that easy. So I think Strength and Numbers is where we want to start. And the big thing here is we want to keep our allies ready. Sometimes it's a fallacy because like we can get the slot back by playing somebody else. The thing is the only ally we have in our hand is Grant Ward. So if that's the case, like I do think we start with Strength and Numbers and we just exhaust a couple characters and we keep drawing. So we're going to keep Slingshot because she can just attack or thwart for 2, which seems totally fine. But we're going to exhaust 1, 2, 3. We don't want to lose the toughness and we'll draw 3 cards. That's all this does. So we'll draw 1, no, 2, can't keep going, 3, so that's bad. So not going to be a great turn. It's going to be a setup turn, and then next turn we might be able to win in a single turn. But we're just going to basically clear the table, block with the toughness, and then we're off to the races. In fact, we won't block with the toughness. So what cards can we play and what cards do we not need to play? Again, unfortunately, all these cards are like really kind of bad if you're not unleashed. Like a 2 for 4 is not amazing. Doesn't Slingshot bounce the hand? No, we played her for with 1 band together. So we played her real text. But yeah, normally she does jump back. But we had got a perfect band together with 3 characters. So we actually played her market price. So yeah, this is not amazing. I don't want to play this. I don't want to play this. I want to hold this to next turn. I don't want to play this. So we can just play the X-Jet to set up. I mean, it's not amazing. If the game's only like 1 or 2 more turns, like the X-Jet's not a good payout, but like, I think we'll still play it regardless. We can thwart for 3, so we might as well just keep this down. Slingshot can thwart for 2. She'll keep this down. And then we have no reason to attack at Unus because Unus is just going to like die. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 for the X-Jet. And maybe we should just be using counters on Phoenix Ford every turn, just because once we're unleashed, our cards are actually good. I think that's actually worth something. And then if that's the case, we can just do 1, 2 for Psychic Blast. And this will just do 4 damage to Unus, just to get closer there. Whatever, it doesn't have text. And that's it, we'll pass. We're not going to use the Phoenix Force, we'll hold on to this. In fact, will we hold on to Strength and Numbers? It'll draw 4 cards next turn, which is really quite good. It seems like we should keep that. There is 1 more card, and the problem is any turn that you draw double Strength and Numbers is pretty bad, but I will hold on to it just in case. Oh, we could have also played this Strength and Diversity that turn. That's probably better, actually. Why don't we just play the Strength and Diversity instead of doing 4 damage? Yeah, let's just do that. So we're going to undo the 4 damage. We're not going to play the Psychic Blast. We're just going to play the Strength and Diversity. Actually, let's not. Let's try and win in a single turn with double Strength and Diversity. I think that's so much more cool. So Villain will just take 4 again. But we could have just played that Strength and Diversity for tempo and knocked out Unus to go to Unus 3. Now let's just do it. Let's just do it. So Villain recovers 4, and we're going to play the Strength and Diversity instead. So we're going to play the Strength and Diversity. We didn't have to use Slingshot, but that's the big thing here is we're never going to waste any value. So we're going to play this for 2. So for each different trait or friendly characters in play, choose to remove 1 threat or deal 1 damage. I'm not going to remove this 1 threat here, even though we can, because it's not going to be necessary. And the cool thing is, because these are instant pings, is that it beats toughness and it beats the villain going to the next stage. If this was a 2 for 10 attack, we'd be wasting some damage, but now we can actually get all the damage into Unus. And so again, to do a check on our traits, we have Psionic, X-Men, Restrained, Shield, Spy, Aerial, Android, Champion, Avenger, Wakanda, New. So this is a 2 for 11. So we're going to do 8 to Unus, advancing Unus. Unus has no additional text, has toughness. We'll do 9, and we'll just do 2 more. We definitely could one-shot Unus in a single turn, but we'll just drop Unus to 16, and then we'll just pass. We'll hold on to this, excuse me. Do you know that you can still trigger Slingshot even if you played her normally, just for the second resource if you wanted to? No, I don't think you can. No shot. Spend a resource, put Slingshot into play from your hand under any players at the end of the phase. If Slingshot's still in play, return it to hand. No, you can't do that because this text box is part of the action. So you don't get that text unless you paid the cost to get her on the table that way. At least that's my understanding. I don't know if you're saying is that a question if you can, or you're telling me you can. I'd be surprised if you can, because that is all one text box, which means it's the effect of paying the cost, and we didn't pay the cost, so we don't get the effect. All right, if we just draw strength and diversity, we win. 1, 2, children of the atom, it's not bad. 3, 4, okay, we win. 5, yeah, that's it. Yeah, strength and diversity is pretty good. Goes to 2, goes to 1. Unus attacks for 4 on a card, we'll take it to our shield. This stuns us, which we don't care about because our strength and diversity is not an attack. So you are stunned. It's only for 4 damage, so cracks the shield. We draw 1 encounter card. We got a ruling that you can. You only need one of the effects. The second, what? We got a ruling that you can? Get out. Why? But then this should be a different paragraph. I don't like that ruling at all. It's just better for you that you can bounce her if you want to. I just don't see why that ruling makes any sense. That's part of the effect cost of paying the cost. You can't, like, why can you get one of the sentences attached to the effect if you don't pay the cost? Doesn't make sense. Endless Ranks is here. Comes in with 4 threat and acceleration. Doesn't matter. All right, so there's one more strength and diversity in our deck. There's 2 things we can do. First thing is try and draw it. Second thing is we can just attack with all these characters. Right? So on the table, even if we don't play strength and diversity, we can attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That doesn't defeat Unus. But of course, I think we have 11 more damage here on strength and diversity. Instead of attacking with these characters, we can just do strength and numbers and hope that we draw into our last strength and diversity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not great odds. Technically, we lose some damage here. If we play this thing, do we actually not have enough damage to win though? So no matter what, we'll do X-Jet first into the Children of the Atom. The reason why is we got 2 more traits. So now it's a 2 for 13. So we could shoot the moon. The cost is only to spend an energy resource. Oh, okay. So you're saying we can spend an energy resource to return her to her hand. That makes 100% sense. Okay, I thought you were saying that we could get the text. They ruled that you could get the text to bounce her back on the hand, even if we paid her and they didn't play any additional cost. I totally get that. Yeah, if she's on the table at any point later in the game, you can spend an energy resource, and then when your phase ends, you can return her to your hand. That actually makes sense. I agree with that. That's not an upsetting ruling. Because yeah, adding her to putting her into play is not a cause. You don't need to do that for the second sentence. I thought we were saying that you could return her to hand even if you didn't spend an energy resource, which that was nonsense, and I'm glad that is still nonsense. But yeah, good shout out. That actually is cool. Okay, I'm into that. Thanks for clarifying that. Not letting me just fly off the handle for no reason. All right, so yeah, in theory, like we could shoot the moon. If we hit the moon, like we get there. I just want to make sure we have enough damage. We can't attack, but we have, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 damage, which means we only have to leave 3 damage unlocked. So we can leave Viv and I guess Bling, which means we can technically draw 2 cards here safely with strength and numbers. The problem is obviously the more cards you draw with strength and numbers, the better it is for you. But if we draw 2 cards here with strength and numbers, we have a chance of getting there. Otherwise, we have lethal regardless. So I think we're going to do that. Again, 13, 14, 15, 16 will be lethal. So we'll just go ahead and tap, I guess it doesn't matter, Viv and Slingshot. So strength and numbers. So we'll exhaust any number of allies, draw 2 cards, give us a strength and numbers. Give us a strength and numbers. No, diversity, we got it. We actually got it. So we now can do an absurd turn here. And we have exactly enough resources. So we have 1 more, in fact. So we can do strength and diversity into strength and diversity. And again, these are not attacks. So these will pop off. And again, just to make sure we're counting again, we have Psionic, X-Men, Restrained, X-Force, X-Factor, Shield, Spy, Aerial, Android Champion, 10, Avenger, Wakanda, New. That's 13. So this does 26 damage, 27, 28, 29, 30. Let alone we could clear all the threat on the table. That was before we decked out our first cycle. Strength and diversity in solo is nonsense. And again, our allies are easy to play. They give us utility. We didn't take very much damage, even against Unus. It is just nonsense. But yeah, Unus is like super, super dead. We had a chance there of doing, I guess we were 1 resource short of doing the triple strength and diversity turn if we kept the one on Black Panther, but it didn't matter. Like that would still been super, 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 super lethal. Dinner time here in Sweden. Thanks for the stream. Thanks so much, Christian. I'm pretty sure those are Swedish kroners, which that's so kind. Thank you so much for the super like. Super appreciated. That's very kind. Thank you. Hey, Mozilla, how's your ally limit for? Blink has text that says does not count towards ally limit. Eventually, we'll have the Triskelion down so we actually can have 5 allies because we're not even at our best version of what we can do. But yeah, specifically, Blink doesn't care. Not a lot of people play this card or these cards, and that's why we're playing them. Straight nonsense, yo. Straight nonsense. Even if we didn't draw the next strength and diversity, we had 3 damage, so we can close it out. But yeah, that's Expert Unus, and like the bottom of our deck is fine. It's like another draw card, a Kalu, which is good, and then some other stuff. I mean, it's nonsense. It's straight nonsense. Yeah. I guess we'll go on. Let's play against the 4 Horsemen. Or if anybody wants to see something specific, but I could see us just like rolling through the campaign slowly. New recruit, didn't play it once. I think, yeah, you and I both. the card, like, New recruit is so strange. Because, like, obviously compared to Call for Backup is really good. And they reprinted Call for Backup because it takes 3 threat. That's something. But it puts the ally into play. The problem with these allies, it adds them to your hand, so you still have to play them. Notably, New Recruit is a 0-cost side scheme, so it's easier to play for Call for Backup. But then these allies are good. They're just not busted. Like, besides Bling, which I think a 2-cost toughness is really quite good, like a 2 health, 3 attack, I don't think is like game warpingly good compared to some of the other effects that you can get from clearing side schemes. I don't know. It never sat well with me because I agree with. They're like, oh, I guess they're okay, but then they don't even put them into play. I wish they put them into play and then they were in your deck and then you had to play them from your deck and then they would be quite good. Have you tried a really tough villain like Loki with the Infinity Gauntlet? I think this deck would body him. It's hard for me to do the Infinity Gauntlet on stream because I don't have the overlay for everything and I have to have another discard pile. But I have played against like Magneto and it's been like totally fine. I think you can go against some bigger villains for sure. For what's worth, I don't like playing against Loki. Like I think Loki's just kind of boring, so I'm never always excited to play against Loki, but I could see it could be okay. New creates a sick and 2 or 3 player. Oh, that's why, because everyone gets one. Oh, okay, that's sick. Okay, that makes more sense. Because it says each player chooses one. That's why this card is like that. You're right. In solo, it's pretty underwhelming, but I could see every character not only just getting a resource, but getting a playable ally is really, really quite good. Thanks for shouting that out. It's like very obvious my solo bias changes the value of certain cards, including that one. That's actually sick. Okay, I get it. Now I understand the card. Glad to be wrong. All right, we just have to find Bling and take her out. Okay. Let's continue on. This one takes us a bit of setup. That was the first game I've seen with Phoenix where Dark Phoenix didn't come out and wreck the game. The thing is, like, if Dark Phoenix came out, and I guess we didn't mention that, our Nemesis set is very different, but like we can do a 2 for 12. There was no board state where Dark Phoenix could have came out where we couldn't have deleted her immediately. Right? Like it's not good because then you're not hitting the villain for like 12, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's bad, but is it that bad? It's bad. I'll be honest. It's obviously the worst, but it's not like game losing. I have, on all the games where Dark Phoenix has shown up, I've still won those games. In fact, I don't think I've lost with this deck yet, but I should have stopped saying that because we lost our last time we said that. It's okay to lose though. Okay, let's just separate this. We're not going to need the Infinite Soldiers right away. We're going to need these though. We had a good setup though. Like, let's not pretend we didn't have a good setup, but still, like, just smooth cruising. Great game. Thank you. The Beast was a good change. The Beast actually helped a heck of a lot. Alice Bear was obviously way too cute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This should be, what is it? 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah. Okay. Apologies. The overlay generally doesn't work for these villains because there's just too many of them. So we're just going to do this out and then we're going to use dice. So bear with me for a minute. It's not my favorite way of doing this, but I'm going to eventually have an overlay where the health points for the multi-villains will show up on the top of the screen. Just that R&D usually takes me a minute and then I have to redo my program to make that make sense too. So at some point it will happen. Okay, let's go. How's everyone's Sunday been? It's a long weekend here. We had Friday off. I'm back at work on Monday. The Friday was really nice. It was just to catch up on like some streaming stuff, some tech stuff. And again, I mentioned this at the top, but we did stream some Arkham Horror on the Metropol grid and had a great time. And it's very likely, as long as I can find time, that we will be streaming some more Arkham Horror on another channel called the Velma's Diner. which link in the description if you like that game. All right, scariest thing I find about these is not so much their text, which is bad, but more so about the side schemes. Some of the side schemes are really bad. Luckily, we have 3 thwart as soon as turn 1, so we should be able to deal with some of these side schemes. So we need to randomize the order of these. I'm just going to look at, I guess, the air. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're starting with death. Good old death. All right, we're playing on expert, so we have the B versions. So the way that this multi-villain scenario works is that there's 4 villains and there's an active counter. Generally, whenever they activate, it goes to the next villain. I'm pretty sure that's how it works on this one. We're going to be using dice the way that we used to for health tracking. Apologies, these are translucent, so sometimes they're not the easiest to see, but we'll be saying the numbers. I don't think it's that bad. Also, reminder, we do stream this at 1440p if you're watching, maybe not on mobile, so that can be easier to watch sometimes. Oh, also a little news thing. The folks at FFG have said, and I know a lot of people are tuning in on Thursdays and getting disappointed when there's no new article for Daredevil box, that the next article that seems like it's talking about the new expansion, the new big box, is going to be dropping on April 16th. So not this week. It's 2 weeks from now, right? What's your go-to tabletop game when you just want to chill? Marvel Champions makes my brain hurt when playing too long. Oh, it's Marvel Champions. When I want to chill, like solo chill or multiplayer chill. If it's solo chill, it's Marvel Champions. I've been playing a bit of Unstoppable. I haven't had time recently, but Unstoppable is also like a really nice solo game. But it's usually Marvel Champions. Otherwise, I'm playing either like a competitive board game, a 1v1, which is obviously less chill, or a multiplayer game. If there's people around. But if it's just me on like, you know, an evening, it's almost always Marvel Champions. What do you do? By the way, how's it going, Beep? All right, so set up here, the Horsemen of Apocalypse. So we're going to do 4 Horsemen. Not found. Oh, it's because Horseman. Yeah, you spell that differently. Okay, so what we're looking at today, we have the 4 Horsemen. Mostly treacheries. There's 4 side schemes, 1 for each, and then some attachments. Otherwise, all the minions are coming from, well, not Dystopian Nightmare, that's still here. That makes you jump down every once in a while. But we're going to be having Ahab and the Hounds. So there's a bunch of like quick strikers that force you from alter ego into hero mode, which can be a bit disastrous, but not the worst. So the Horsemen of Apocalypse. So this main scheme, we're playing on expert, as we are. It says shuffle the 4 Horsemen villains, then reveal them in a row and from left to right. Place the active counter on the leftmost villain. So if you're not familiar with these multi-villain scenarios, whoever has this active counter, this sort of like speech box, that is the one that's going to be attacking or activating against us during the villain phase. We'll be drawing in counter cards that say like, somebody else activates. And anytime anybody activates, this just goes to the next in line, and then it wraps back to the front when it has to happen. It says each player reveals a random scheme from the 4 Horsemen encounter set. There's 4 of these. We'll just roll a die. 1, 4. Okay, we have the Spectre of Death. This one's really bad to us. Like, death is really, really mean. And the issue is the Spectre of Death, it does 1 damage to all characters we control. And as you know, we love controlling characters. So this is something we're going to have to knock out sooner than later. Let alone this is the exact same text on death, which I'll show you. These go into the discard pile, or sorry, into the counter deck, excuse me, alongside everything else. And that's mostly it on the setup. The Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So force response after a villain activates, move the active counter to the next villain, and if this stage is completed, which has 12, we advance. Now this deck has a lot of multi-activates. Just about every villain or every horseman has a card that says they activate. There's a bunch of cards that just make this counter jump around. So not that we're a deck that relies on stun or confuse, but we do have to watch out. If you think you're going to stun Pestilence, it can jump over to War, and then War can activate if you're unlucky. I think unlike Sinister Six, there's no like scaling effects where if you don't knock them out quickly, but notably all these characters or all these villains have like really bad text boxes, but if they have no health left, the text box is blank. So death is pretty bad because after death attacks and he has at least 1 hit point, deal 1 damage to each character you control. And they all have the same text that they cannot be defeated while another villain has at least 1 hit point. So while we can bring death to no health, just to like blank his text box, he still will exist and will activate 1 in every 4 times or something close to that, right? That's mostly it. We have a lot of targets, so it's really nice for us to do a strength and diversity, but death is the text box we care about by far the most, and it does hit pretty hard. Functionally, it attacks for 4, right? Because you always take 1 damage, because you are a character you control. Your hero is. It's not just your allies. Pestilence is next. After Pestilence attacks you, if she has 1 hit point, blank your text box until the next phase. That just means we lose a resource a turn. We didn't use that resource all the time, so we'll see how bad that is. That's probably our least priority. She does scheme the hardest. Next, we have War. After War attacks, discard and upgrade her support. I just dropped a lot of encounter cards on the floor. That's not the worst. We have some nice upgrades or supports, but we're not super upgrade or support heavy, so that could knock out some important pieces. But it's the sort of encounter set where you don't want to like prioritize playing an Avengers Mansion or the X-Jet, which we have only one of those. And then finally, Famine just rips 10 cards off the top of your deck, which sometimes they can hurt us, sometimes they can help us. We just want to track where our strength and diversities are. And of course, you get to an encounter card faster when the deck decks out. Currently looking for a good beat up some monsters type of co-op game to play with friends. Something less thinky puzzly, so Arkham Horror is a no-go. Like a dungeon crawler? From my understanding, a lot of the modern dungeon crawlers are getting like very thinky, like very, very punishing and very like, you know, if you do well, you do well. The sort of things kind of like, what's it called? Gloomhaven. The Gloomhaven likes the like very expensive miniature versions of modern Gloomhavens. There's a nice small version of Gloomhaven, but I would definitely say Gloomhaven's a bit thinky. A co-op game to play with friends, something less thinky and puzzly. There's a chance what you want maybe is Unmatched. Unmatched, this is sort of like it's a rebirth of an old game from the 80s. Restoration Games puts out, and they do like licensed products, but they also do like a license-free products where they tackle IPs that are in public domain. And while it's mostly, or like classically was a PvP game, there's a couple boxes that can let you play co-op. So it's a game where you have a hand of cards and then you play a card face down and you attack someone and they can play a block card and then you flip them. And then they have, you know, thematic and powerful or interesting effects. The cooperative stuff means you can fight against, you know, a cooperative villain that has like a simple AI. It's kind of like that. Kind of. It might be, it's like what people would call a beer and pretzels game. Like it's a game that you can't play competitively, but a lot of people play casually because it's like Ninja Turtles attacking George Washington. It's like, who cares? It's goofy versus Daredevil. But I don't know if I play that many games like that. Blood Rage? Yeah, I know that Blood Rage is a pretty enduring game. People like it. I don't know what it is though. Okay, we're at 9 health. Recover 9. And we should be off. Ooh, that's recover up to 9. Okay. This Spectre of Death, mind you, I don't know if we showed the text on this. We need to get rid of this immediately if we can. 3 threat helps, because we're not going to be attacking for 1. But it just says when this is defeated, not only is there an amplify icon, everybody takes 1 damage. So we want to clear that before we play our allies. Kinfire Delve is something that keeps popping up. Oh, yeah, I don't know too much about Kinfire. I know it's like a cooperative deck-based game. I know I'm getting a lot of advertisements for one of the new ones that are coming out. It seems to be like having small expansions that are like $15, so maybe that's approachable. But I think it's a game where you play cards to like different directions and they do different things. Kind of like, you know, a cooperative card game, I guess. Okay. And we're off. Again, our alter ego. No real text here. We start with our Phoenix Force. We start with 3 traits and we can generate a wild resource a turn. The Organ Spectre Death is great. It is good. This like era of the 4 Horsemen of X-Men when it comes to like the comics or more accurately the cartoon, I'm not very familiar of. But yeah, that is a pretty scared looking Iceman. Here we go, band together. That's not good in our opening hand. Oops. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, this card is not good in our opening hand. We drew it at the right time, but obviously this does next to nothing. We can't even pitch it for a resource. It doesn't generate 1. Children of the Atom is pretty good. We talked about like not rushing down upgrades or supports, but this actually means on turn 1, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 traits, which means Spectre of Death can be cleared. But Spectre of Death can be cleared on everything usually. This is a maybe keep. This is a probably almost definitely not keep. Telepathic Trickery, again, I just really don't like our cards. We have some good cards that can deal with multiple characters, which is really nice in this scenario. But a 2 for 4 is just bad. Like that's just not good numbers. This is only good if you're Unleashed, where the Stun and Confuse is very, very good. I'll still put this in the maybe camp because it allows us to clear Spectre of Death on turn 1 before we have to play any allies, which is kind of good. The X-Jet, I don't know if I want to play this into Pestilence. It's really nice on turn 1. Maybe it's a maybe, but if we don't get any doubles, we won't keep it. Rise from the Ashes. This is our Don't Die button, which like it's way too expensive. All her cards feel so expensive. And then we have New Recruits, which is also not bad. Jean Grey has 17 hit points. Yeah, I do have to fix that. Thank you. We would have found out sooner than later. I hit recover 9 instead of set health to 9. I love that we see how imposing this character is without them even being on screen. Great stuff. Yeah, the shadow. The shadow's really, really good. All right, this mulligan's not it. However, so much of this is going to be controlled by Death and the Spectre of Death, both doing 1 damage to all characters we control in the near future, which means we're not incentivized to spam a lot of small minions on this first turn. So like this hand is okay, at least because it doesn't do that. We obviously don't keep this at a minimum because it doesn't do anything. But in terms of other stuff, like how are we playing this hand out? We don't keep Rise from the Ashes. It's like, again, doesn't do anything. It stops you from dying, which is cute. New Recruits is an easy play. We could get that on the table for 0. That's nice. That will let us play the Children of the Atom, and then maybe we can play Telepathic Trickery just to get rid of the Spectre of Death. I mean, it's not the worst. Let's be honest, it's not the worst. So I think we'll just get 2 more here. Telekinetic Attack, again, this could do more damage. It's a 3 for 7. It's not good. And then we have a Telekinetic Shield, which is actually a really good card. This is a really nice thing that stops us from taking damage. Now, it only blocks attack damage, I'm pretty sure. So it won't block the death damage, which that's fine. It's just a little tickle, but that's okay. So here, I think clearing Spectre of Death is probably the best. We can clear Spectre of Death. We can play Telekinetic Shield, and then we can play New Recruits because, of course, we can generate 1. And that's probably good enough. We'll clear Spectre of Death with ourselves as well. So it's okay. Low tempo, but like, again, with Death on the table, we don't want to play a lot of small allies for a couple of reasons. So especially with the double Death combo start, which is not great for us. So we'll flip up. We're going to use the Phoenix Force. Technically, this is our hero's text. We can spend a counter to generate a wild, and we'll use that wild on top of this to play the Telekinetic Shield. So again, we are protected. We're really hoping that Death doesn't attack her 5. The best case here is with the boost, it's 4. Excuse me, that's not it. Because this will block multiple attacks. There's a big chance against Death, who hits pretty hard. This will only block 1 attack, but we'll do what we can. We will throw it for 3 off of this. And then we're just going to play 1, 2, and we're not playing Children of the Atom, but it's okay. Pestilence is coming up, so we won't probably keep it. So we'll play, 1, 2 into Telepathic Trickery. So that says remove 4 threat from his scheme if this is the Unleashed trait. So we'll just remove the Spectre of Death, get rid of that. So that's more likely maybe Death will only do 1 attack here. And this just says all characters we control have to take 1 damage, which is us. We do control ourselves. Then finally, we'll play New Recruits on the table for free. A card that I've now got a bunch more respect for because I understand how it works in multiplayer, but it comes in with 2 threat, and this gets us an ally in the near future. And that's our turn. Not the worst, not the best. Okay, draw 5. So firstly, we have Hugin and Moonin. So this is a good just trait bomb. The ready effect on this is not amazing. There's a couple allies in the deck. Most of them have Quick Strike, I think. Another Telepathic Trickery. Energy, nice. At least we have the nice version of this art. It's so hard to do energy because if I search energy and I just have to tab through every single option, there's so many cards that start with energy. Strength in numbers is pretty bad here. We don't have a lot of allies. And then we have a Grant Ward. So at least we can do a 2-number strength in numbers. Issue with Grant Ward is like Grant Ward is not a card you want to strengthen numbers because you actually want to use Grant Ward aggressively because you always want to have Grant Ward on 1 health so you can get rid of him if you need to. All right, this goes to 1 threat. On 12, we lose. Death is going to attack us. Death B is attacking us for 3 in a card. We'll just take it. We have a Telekinetic Shield. We're hoping for 1 boost. It's a 2 boost. Bummer. So Rough Riders, it's one of these ones that moves the counter. So we take 5 damage, which cracks our shield perfectly. Then Death's text goes off, which Death says that we have to take 1 damage. And then this slides over to Pestilence. 1 encounter card. Horsemen of Pestilence. Uh-oh. So heal 2 damage from Pestilence and give her tough stats card. Then she activates against us. So this can just happen. She's only attacking for 2 in a card. And luckily her text box doesn't matter here. So it's 2 in a card. We in theory could defend here for only 2. It's not amazing. Recovering is a bit better. But we are not going to be doing a lot more with our threat 3 on this turn. We can maybe interact with New Recruits. Actually, maybe thwarting New Recruits is right, but we can thwart New Recruits with Grant Ward. So I don't actually think we do anything here besides defend for 2. Her text won't matter because we can't discard Phoenix Force because it's permanent. So it's just blank text, which is nice. So 1, 2, 3. That's the 1 boost we wanted. We'll take 1 damage. And slide this off to War. So War is up next. War makes us... Oh no, this blanks our text box. This is the wrong one. Shit. I wanted our text box. This is not the discard and upgrade one. That's Famine. No, sorry, that's War. Oh man, I got this wrong. It's fine. We still played around it a wee bit, but yeah, that's okay. We're going to take 1 damage there. We're down to 6. Now, war only thwarts for 2, so we could jump down this turn and just say, like, you're not going to hurt us in alter ego. The issue, though, is like if war activates, then this goes to famine. And if we get a card like advanced that says famine activates, famine schemes for 3 in a card. Now, with Phoenix, that's a good thing, is that we're always pretty good at just like thwarting 3 next turn and fixing a lot of the issues that the advance causes, which some, characters with 1 threat or 2 thwart, they have to rely on drawing well to fix that problem, which we don't actually have that issue. All right, well, start with Grant Ward here, who's free. We got to watch out. Grant Ward has some pretty bad text, but hey, free is free. So we're going to just use him immediately, I think, to clear the new recruits, which means we can go get an ally. And by an ally, we're going to put Bling in our hand, and I think we're just going to bling out Bling here for a double. Again, our text box is blank for a turn, so we can't get an extra resource here. Bling's on the table. 2 health, toughness. We don't want to use her because we want to keep that toughness for a big attack. And we want to use that before death fires and we lose the 1 damage thing. So here we have 2 more resources. We could do Strength and Diversity just as like a cantrip. We spend a card to draw a card. A Strength and Diversity here is actually not that bad. But we can do Strength and Numbers to exhaust Bling, which we might as well. So we're going to exhaust Bling. Sorry, Strength and Numbers. Strength and Numbers. So we'll exhaust Bling to draw a card. It's a Phoenix Firebird. Now, this card is weird. The cool thing you can do with this card is you can spend a Phoenix counter on this to put 2 Phoenix counters, so you go up a Phoenix counter. It's not super important here. So we have a couple options here. We can either play Hugin and Moonin for 2, just to get another ally, so we have a lot of traits, and we haven't drawn any diversities yet. Or we could play the Telepathic Trickery to threat 1, which is not super important. I think we're just going to play Hugin and Moonin here, because we can't generate a resource. Our text box is blank, so we'll play Hugin and Moonin. We won't use their text. We could thwart for 1 this turn with Hugin and Moonin, but we're not going to. We can just wait for next turn. And I think we actually are... We don't need to jump down here. Oh, this should be here. Excuse me. Horseman is an interesting scenario. Age of Apocalypse goes a long way to test decks in a large variety of ways. Awesome design. I mean, this box is really damn good. Age of Apocalypse might be my favorite box. I think the scenario design is just amazing. And I just wish there was a bit more beast support, dark beast support. All right, Strength and Diversity check. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we stay in hero mode, we can always deal with Grant Ward with our Phoenix Force because it's not an action, it's a resource, and it's once per phase. So it's really nice with Grant Ward. So I think that actually is pretty good. I think we'll stay up here and try and use Bling as the block. As much as we will have to jump down and recover sooner than later. It's good to do it on War, though, because War only schemes for 2. I think War is he. I don't know who this character is. Yeah, I think we could jump down. Having more cards is fine. As much as we're going to spend 1 card on Grant Ward, let's just jump down here. So we'll be an alter ego. And when we recover next turn, we also get like a resource, right? So we'll drop. We get a Psychic Blast. Again, these cards are not great until you're, unleashed. That's okay. There's not that many minions, but this can lock down a minion. That's perfect. Again, we already did the math and immediately forgot it, but it feels like 11, something around that. Mind Control is cool if we find a minion. It'd be nice to grab Ahab. I'm assuming Ahab has some nice traits. We have Cyclops, who we don't try to play Cyclops because Cyclops doesn't really matter. We already have the X-Men trait. And we have a Strength in Numbers, so any extra allies, like probably Bling on this turn, we can just use to draw more cards. So that's nice. Okay, this goes to 2. War is going to scheme for 2 in a card. So 1, 2. Nice assault, just 2 threat. It goes to 4. Slides over. And notably, all of their text only fires when they attack. So we don't have to worry about that. Have you considered using dice to track your trait total? I have, and I was worried that the number would get too big. And the problem is, like, Andy, I'm going to mess it up. We're going to lose an ally, and I'm not going to update this. So I'm still going to have to check all the time. I guess we'll just try it for the sake of it. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to mess it up and just still feel like we have to count constantly. But yeah, it's annoying to have to recount. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll try that. Just keep me honest that we always remember to change these. 1 encounter card, we have to watch out. It's not a treachery, it's a treachery. And the worst part is a treachery with Surge. So we're going to resolve this by just surging, but we have to do Grant Ward immediately. So Grant Ward says after you reveal treachery, spend a mental. So our hand, we'll just get rid of, I guess, the mind control. Sucks. Salt. More surges. At least we weren't in hero mode, so we have to do Grant Ward again. So I guess we're gonna spend another mental. Shut up. And then we draw in advance, so the worst outcome by a mile. So Famine is gonna scheme for 3, and we have to play with Grant Ward one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on a Hound. This goes to 8, and this goes back to Death, which is bad. And we have to deal with Grant Ward one more time. We've run out of mental resources unless we want to use, I guess we'll just use Cyclops. This turn is going to be totally solved by Strength and Diversity. I think we're still able to recover one here. The issue with Death is Death will attack, and the attack will at least knock out Grant Ward. Maybe that's a good thing. But yeah, it's not a great turn for us here. If we want to recover, we probably can and probably should. Bling can block the block. Hugin Moon will stay alive. Grant Ward, we can make Grant Ward get knocked out if we thwart for 2 here. But luckily, the Strength and Diversity is going to do enough for us. I think that's all we do this turn. Yeah, Grant was a jerk. That was a really, really bad. Like drawing 3 encounter, expecting to draw 1 encounters and drawing 3 treacheries instead was really, really bad for Grant. As much as his hand wouldn't have got that much better, like maybe we would have played Cyclops for like tempo. Too late to decide not to. All right, in Alter Ego, I think we're going to recover down here. So we're going to recover for 3, which means we get a counter and it will flip up. So the one thing we can do is we can play Strength and Numbers here, because we are not going to use any of our allies, maybe Grant Ward, but we'll definitely exhaust 1, 2, so they can survive. So are we going to exhaust Grant Ward? If we exhaust Grant Ward, that means Grant Ward will definitely survive 1 more round for better for worse. And I think it's a good for better for worse, as much as like this is the decisions you have to make, because we haven't seen Slingshot yet. And Slingshot is our other like shield spy, and she's very easy to play. So 1, 2, if we had 3 more cards here, we definitely can already play Strength and Diversity, so we're hoping to draw 2 cost card. I think we can do it. I think we can draw with Grant, so we'll draw 3. Psychic Blast, no good. Strength and Diversity, pretty good. No! Too many. I guess we'll hold 1 for next turn, because we'll still have 3 allies. But yeah, I mean, we can just like fix the board here, and that's again why this is so damn good. These are 2 for 9s, which obviously that's quite good. So we'll do 1, 2 for Strength. Unfortunately, we're going to have to eat a Strength here, but at least we have a Black Panther coming up. So in our first game, we had such a perfect draw order. This is putting more pressure on us. Like Unus doesn't put that much pressure on us. If we had more cards in hand because of Grant Ward, this would have been a triple Strength and Diversity turn, which we could have knocked out like multiple villains. So this is for 9. So we're just going to clear 8 here, and we'll take the toughness off, I guess. Or actually, can we just like knock down Death? I think we're slightly short of knocking down Death. So let's try and knock down Death so we don't have to deal with Death's text, because that might be better. So this was at 9? No, this was at 8. So we're going to play another Strength and Diversity. So let's just start by making sure Death has no text, because Death's text is really good against us. So we're just going to do straight 9 into Death. Then we'll do Phoenix Force for the second Strength and Diversity. We got all 3 there. And so this does 9 again. So we'll do 3, which means we have 6 left over. So this 8 will go down to 2. Cool. Now Death is textless. I'll have to make sure I shuffle these well. You technically can't shuffle your discard pile, but I want to make sure we unclump those. And now Death is unfanged, which means Grant Ward will stay around for longer, but that was a really good recovery turn. And we'll pass. Draw 5. First, Power of Leadership, love it. Let's go find a Black Panther to really pop off. Kalu's not bad. Telekinetic Attack, we don't love these cards. A Call for Backup means we can get a Black Panther guaranteed, and a Genius means we can play a lot of cards here. It'd be really nice to have a Beast in this hand too, because we have 3 allies, which is perfect. Let's go to 3. Death is now only attacking for 3 in a card. We will just block with Blink, because we don't have a reason to use Blink on this turn. 3, 4, 5, 6, huge block, takes the toughness off, and Death's text no longer is active. Pestilence gets the counter. Counter card, Horseman of Famine. Horseman? Horseman. A Famine. Heal 2 damage from Famine. Can't. Give her a tough status. She activates against you. All right. So Famine's text says that we rip 10 off of our deck. That's not my favorite here, but she's only attacking for 2 in a card, which means we can take it to the face, no problem. We have to remember Grant Ward is going to have text here, so I'll just put that down. These numbers are so silly, and yeah, in solo, they're silly. They're straight silly. Card is nonsense. It's straight nonsense, but it's a fun like deck building challenge, and you actually do have to still play well to make sure that you're setting your consistent, like you're setting up and planning for it, but it is nonsense. All right, so Famine is attacking for 2 in a card. We have to deal with this. I'm not going to block with Hugin and Moonin, but honestly, like it might not be the worst thing, because our ally slots, we have 1 more ally slot, so I don't think we do. We'll just take it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll take 4. Then we have to do Famine's text. This will slide over, and we just have to rip 10 off the top of our deck. So we'll see if we lose somebody that we care about. 1, 2, there's Black Panther, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our deck is only 2 cards left. It's Triskelion and Vivian. If I have to draw a card, I'll shuffle these because it's hard to randomize 2. But most of our big allies are in the bin. And then we have to finish this. So we have to deal with Grant Ward, who's going to stay around for 1 more turn. We can spend a mental here. I'm just going to use our Phoenix Force. And notably, our hero text, Phoenix Force is once per phase. So doing this in the villain phase is quite nice. And this actually might be a game where we go try and get restrained because our thwarting is not super necessary here. And just doing a lot of damage is pretty good. Especially because retaliate against this toughness will probably line up pretty well. All right, War Scheming. That's fine. War Scheming for 2. So we can jump down this turn. We've seen 1 advance so far. The question is what we do with the rest of this turn. So I think we will probably clear Call for Backup. Say that Phoenix clears Call for Backup. Call for Backup gets us an Avenger and a Wakanda. That character allows us to play Strength and Diversity. And then we just can play like a telekinetic attack, I guess. Yeah, not a perfect turn, but like it's still a really good turn. So what are we going to do here? We're going to start by pitching Kalu because we're going to have an ally slot issue for Call for Backup. And then we're just going to thwart it immediately. So when this is cleared, we can search our deck and discard pile for an ally and put into play. We are going to get the recently discarded Black Panther. Notably, Bling does not take up an ally slot. In theory here, we could consider getting our allies back into our deck because we're about to deck out, but I don't think it's really important, especially because Death has no text. So we get Black Panther. Excuse me, Black Panther leadership. So after Black Panther enters play, which he entered play, choose a leadership blue event. I hope it says blue. And attach it in. We can play this as if we're in our hand. So now again, our traits are up to 11, if I did the math quickly. Cool. Have you brought from End State Games? Have to see a lot of their out of stock paths. She has, sorry if I'm not saying that right. I have no idea what that is. There's a big chance that you're naming an American store, and I'm a Canadian, so I don't know what that store is. But yeah, sorry. The only stores that I've ever like bought stuff from are usually Canadian stores. I don't know if that's the overlap. How's it going though? If you're looking for out of stock packs, like I'm assuming if you can call the store and talk to them, it's probably not a scam. If you buy with a credit card, you can always charge back, worst comes to worst, but just call the store and ask them, right? If you're like really unsure about how it works, but yeah, it seems like it'd be fine. There's a lot of stores that just have stuff on shelves, and I like how people share that in Marvel Champions, like Reddit and stuff like that. Okay, so if we play Strength and Diversity, actually the rest of this hand's not amazing. So actually we probably should have kept Kalu instead of the telekinetic attack. Which Canadian store? I'm in Montreal, so my local store is called Le Valet de Coeur. They have some stuff. They also have some stuff in French, but they don't have like a lot of older stuff, I don't think. But generally when it comes to Canada, the big stores that people buy from internationally are Board Game Bliss and 401 Games. Last time I was at 401 Games, they had some of the older Marvel Champion stuff in stock. They've started to charge like market prices for stuff. So something that's out of print, they'll just charge more for, which I find incredibly frustrating. But 401 Games and Board Game Bliss have like the best prices. What I'd highly recommend is go to this website called Board Game Oracle. If you're in Canada, you can search Board Game Oracle Canada. There's also one for the UK, I think also for Europe. And you can search any board game product on it, and it'll give you a link of stores that have that product in or out of stock. Now, it's not going to be exhaustive. It's going to be stores that have like volunteered to be part of the Board Game Oracle network, because I do think they're affiliates and get commissions if you click through their links. But it's a nice place to like just do a quick check to check multiple stores, either in Canada or the States. I have found some product through that, but it's not everything. It's not all stores. So it's usually like smaller stores that don't have like a good online presence will end up having stuff on shelves that people just can't find because they don't show up on Google searches. So you often have to like call smaller mom and pop stores, stuff like that. Back when I got into Arkham, I found a bunch of hard to find Mythos packs from 401 Games. Yes. Yeah, for sure. 401 Games is a really great store. All right. So we're just going to do, so we could technically play Kalu to replace one of these characters, but all these traits are pretty good, especially because Kalu has a little overlap. Kalu also looks at the top 5 and there's no events in here. So we're probably not going to, we're just going to burn these cards, unfortunately. So we'll do Genius into Strength and Diversity. We can make War have no text here. It's good to get 2 Strength and Diversities in a single like deck loop. That's nice. So our traits are 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11. We did math right. So we can remove 11 threat. And I think we're going to be jumping down this turn to recover. These cards are unfortunate because they don't do anything, but there was no better cards for us to hold. Actually, no, we could have held on telekinetic attack because we can just play it. No, we can't because we're short of resource, whatever. I think this was our hand. So anyways, 11. So good. We can attack with Grant Ward, which is 2 damage. We'll definitely take toughness because that's a good use of this. So we have 9 more instances. So with 9 more instances, we actually can knock somebody out. The question is, which of these characters has the worst text? My guess is actually Pestilence, because Pestilence is just kind of annoying. Because I like her text box slightly. So we will do 3. So we spent 5, we have 6 more. We'll just take 6 damage off Pestilence. Then we will do Black Panther for 2. We'll do Grant Ward for 2. I think that's it. I honestly don't know if we play these cards. Avenger Mystic is not super useful. This is the sort of card that we'll hold to next turn, if anything. Which means the slot that probably leaves is Black Panther, so we can keep Hugin and Moonin kind of healthy here. Because we'd rather use Hugin for Moonin if there's a break point or if there's a toughness, because attacking for 1 on this board state doesn't really matter. We'll flip down, we'll pass. I will hold these 2 cards. We know we're drawing into Vivian and Triskelion, and those are good enough. In theory, we should discard these cards because it's more important we just draw more strength and diversities. But Kalu is like, look at top 5, and that's kind of nice. And Grant Ward should be leaving this turn if all things go well. So we'll just hold these 2 and pass. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what is true is actually, hold on. What is really true is the turn that you draw multiple encounter cards because you deck out is a really bad turn for Grant Ward. So if that's the case, I will just discard Grant Ward, actually. I'll pick that up later. So we lose 2 traits and we'll play Kalu. But this just means it gets back into the deck. But like drawing Grant Ward on the turn that you draw multiple encounter cards is pretty bad. Kalu's text here is unfortunately not necessary. Doesn't do anything. We don't actually have to attack or thwart with Kalu this turn. The breakpoint doesn't really matter. Yeah, we'll just pass, but it's probably okay because there's no things here we can look at. So we'll draw these 2 and draw an encounter card. Yeah, getting rid of Grant Ward when you're going to deck out is actually kind of important. So Strength and Diversity is a good draw. Strength and Numbers is a good draw. Seems good. We have 2 Avenger overlap, so these are our weakest allies. So actually, we should just use Kalu for attack for 1 because we might actually get out of it. Kylo adds Mystic. Yeah, Kylo adds Mystic, but only adds 1 trait, so I'm not like super excited about it. Oh yeah, I see why you're saying that. Good catch. But yeah, these are 2 weakest that will leave. Vivian has a bit of overlap with Hugin and Moonin, but she adds 2 traits, which is nice. That's just good enough. Okay. Draw 4 more because we're all 3 go. 1, 2, 3. Band Together is great. We just want somebody expensive to play with it. We don't have that many expensive cards left. Phoenix Suit, I mean, I guess we'll play it. It does technically give us another trait sometimes, depending on how things are going. This will give us Restrained. Or sorry, yeah, give us Steady. That's not a trait. Bummer. It gives us Aerial, though, but we already have Hugin. Children of the Atom, that's good. That gives us 2 more traits. Not too bad, but we're definitely looking for a trait payoff card. And Slingshot, at least we can get Slingshot on the table with Band Together. So not the worst. Cool, Slingshot's good. 3 cost card. And Shield Support, Shield Spy is what we wanted for sure. This goes to 1. War is going to scheme for 2 and a card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, huge boost. So this goes to 6. Slides over. We draw 2 encounter cards. And we don't do War's text because it's only when War attacks. Ahab's Energy Spear. So this says attached to Ahab, otherwise attached to the villain. When encounter card is referring to the villain, it is the active villain. Otherwise, if it's a card of ours that says the villain, we can choose. So now Famine's attacking for 4 when it has Overkill and Piercing. That sucks. Rough Riders. Okay, so I think we're just going to do some text. So it says resolve the forced response on the active villain as if it has at least 1 hit point. Move the card to the next villain, resolve its forced response the same way. Oh, that's bad. We lose Kalu. It's not the end of the world. But firstly, we have to do Famine's text. Famine just says rip 10. So we'll see what this does to our deck. Trashing Strength and Diversities is bad if we also trash Black Panther. But actually, we can't trash Black Panther because Black Panther is here. So who knows? 1, 2, good. 3, okay. 4, fine. 5, fine. 6, fine. 7, fine. 8, fine. 9, fine. 10, fine. It helped us. It made our deck better. We're more consistent at finding strength and diversities. Then this slides over, and then we have to do Death. Death, unfortunately, just hurts us. So we do lose access to Kalu. Death B. Death just says do 1 damage. It says as if they have 1 hit point. So we lose Kalu. Bling takes 1. Hugin takes 1. Black Panther takes 1, which doesn't matter, and we take 1. Bye, Kalu. And that's it. Notable that now the encounter card, or sorry, the active thing is on Death. So Ahab's Spear is a bit far away from mattering, and Death is blank. All right, in all 3 go, we're going to do our thing. We're going to recover 3 as we do. So we'll recover 3, which charges this. We're up at 7. We'll flip up. We can't draw any here. We can't draw any here. Oh, we lost 1 trait. Nothing as quick as a whip, nothing slips by him. Okay, so in theory, slingshot is still expensive. And back to 9. Yeah, I got it. Just that easy. So band together is still a triple. So we'll band together for slingshot. So we're up at 11. We've used her top text, or sorry, we didn't use her text at all. So she's just good. We're basically one strength and diversity away from winning the game. Then with this hand, like we could play Triskelion, Children of the Atom. Phoenix Suit just gives us access to Steady, which is like not super useful. I do think we can play this whole hand though, because we still have access to our Phoenix Force. So I'll Phoenix Force down Children of the Atom. 13 traits. And then we'll go ahead and we can't play Vivian here. I don't actually think we need the Triskelion. I think our ally slots are pretty good here. Viv, we could play Viv just to replace Hukin and Moonin, which might not be the worst. I honestly think Phoenix Suit is less good than just playing Vivian. So we will attack with Hukin and Moonin for Pestilence, knocking that out. Now we're losing Aerial Asgard Bird, but as soon as that is lost, we replace it with Vivian. And Vivian, we'll just use Vivian's text, technically, I guess, to blank the text on the Ahab's Energy Spear. And she replaces the traits with 2 more traits. So, trait neutral. All right, Blink's on her last health. Black Panther's on her last health. So we're going to greed those, but we can attack for 2 with Slingshot. She'll just work on, I guess, War. Oh, actually, no. I'm way more worried about this. So we'll thwart for 2. And Vivian will attack for 1. That's it. We'll pass. Strength and diversity time. Blade. Okay. We haven't played him yet, but he's good. As much as we do have it at Black Panther, but we can replace Black Panther for 2 traits for 2 traits. Telekinetic attack is never it. Strength and numbers. That's card draw, which is good because we definitely want to find our good cards. Nope. Nice. Okay. That's good. Crash Good Diner. Yo, Joel, how's it going? How's your Sunday? This goes to 1. More. Death is now attacking. Death is attacking just for 3 in a card. No text. We can take it to the face. If the second attack gets really bad, the worst this can do is 6 damage. I don't know if there's any encounter cards that do auto damage. My guess is there could be, but this counter is going to go over here. So Death's auto damage is pretty far away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or sorry, just 3 on War Weary, but we are stunned. Doesn't matter because Strength and Diversity is not an attack. So we take 3. 1 encounter card. Targeted for extermination. So this has a crisis on it. And when you clear this, you get confused. Funny enough, we just had Steady and we were like, we don't care about it. It would have been pretty good here. Anime Boston taking a break from people for a few. Yo, are you at a booth or are you just like hanging out? How's it been? Hopefully you're having a good time, huh? Okay, so we are stunned. That's fine. We're at 4 health, which means we might need a chump block. If Strength and Numbers draws another Strength and Diversity, we have 26 output this turn, which is lethal, right? Like it's very lethal. Each Strength and Diversity knocks out 1. So Strength and Numbers can just get there. If we draw another Diversity, we win the game on the spot. So I'm just going to play Strength and Numbers and hope. Again, our deck is relatively small because we ripped 10 off the top, a clean haircut. And we have 2 left in here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have an okay chance of finding something here. So Strength and Diversity will exhaust Bling, will exhaust Viv, will exhaust Black Panther. In theory, we can exhaust Slingshot, and I think we do, just because the chance of finding a Strength and Diversity is much better than, or much more valuable than having 2 extra thwart or 2 extra attack on this turn, which doesn't hit any obvious breakpoints. So we'll exhaust 4 to draw 4. X-Jet, Genius, Energy, Phoenix Firebird. Okay, we didn't find it. That's a bummer. Good thing with Phoenix Firebird is we can spend extra resource on this and then use those to ready ourselves and just like, you know, go back into the game. But unfortunately, that ain't it. So we'll definitely win next turn as long as we don't die here. Knock on wood. Both has been good. Oh, sick. What was the thing that you're most excited to see at a convention, or let alone this convention? I think we might still have lethal here, right? We have no way to get more ally slots or allies because this has 2 traits as long as we knock out Black Panther. So that's like not a big difference as much as we could attack with Blade this turn. So I think we're always going to start with a double for Strength and Diversity and just do the good old 13. Strength in Diversity. So we're guaranteed to have 2 more Strength and Diversities in the bottom of our deck. So we don't actually have to rush out damage here. And Pestilence is already blanked. So we'll do 13. So I'm going to do 3 to target for extermination, which confuses us. We have 10 left over. For safety, we'll do 5 here. So we have 5 left over. We'll take 5 off of War. Okay, cool. We will just get rid of the confuse. Actually, do we get rid of the attack? Because we actually could play an attack this turn. I don't think so. We'll play, I guess we'll just play Genius Blade for the X-Jet. This is not going to be super efficient. I think there's actually a good puzzle what the best turn is here, but we're just going to do a good turn that's good enough, I think. We'll use the X-Jet to play Phoenix Firebird. We could unleash ourselves, remove one power counter to ready Phoenix. It doesn't really matter. So we'll just remove a power counter to add, or sorry, spend a resource to add 2 power counters. Like probably we should be unleashing ourselves. And then we can do it again with this Phoenix Firebird. So we'll add 2 more counters. Like these resources are not going to matter. The game's going to be over sooner than later. There's a good chance that we could have maybe unleashed ourselves that turn to get plus extra attack, but I think we're feeling pretty comfortable. I would actually jump down this turn just to see more cards because I don't think we're in a bad spot when this has 12. And, well, yeah, it has 12 on it. We'll pass. We could always chump block with an ally, but like 4 health is technically the scariest part of what's going on here. It's how we could lose. There it was the next card. We would have had it. Strength, Rise from the Ashes, Psychic Blast, Telepathic Trickery, and a Mind Control. Okay. Goes to 1. Pestilence Schemes for 3 in a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off of our, what's it called? Encounter, our Nemesis, our Obligation. Got there. War draws Under Fire. Okay, actually scary. We could lose here. So Surge, when revealed, we get Release the Hounds. I think this actually forces us up, right? So the first copy of Hounds revealed this phase gains Surge. The player who defeated the scheme searches the counter deck and discard pile for a copy of Hounds and deals with them as a face down counter card. Okay, so this has no text this turn, unless this is a Hound. It's not, it's Rough Riders. When revealed, resolve the forced response on this. Go to the next character, resolve their forced response. Okay, so War is going to fire off. War says we have to discard an upgrade or support we control. We'll just get rid of the X-Jet because Children of the Atom has more text. Then it goes over here. With Famine, we have to rip 10 off of our deck, which sucks because we're going to draw another encounter card. We rip 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all you do. We do deck out, and this is still encounter phase, so we can't draw another card. Uh-oh. This is fine. We still win, I'm pretty sure. But it's Shadow of the Past. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis minion, put into play, reveal your set-aside side scheme. And her Nemesis is something else. At this point, I don't think it matters because we have a lot of damage and all we have to do is 18 damage this turn. And we have a 13 damage play in our hand. And then we'd have to do another like 7 damage. And on the table, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we should be fine. I think we also have more damage in our hand. So I'm not going to do too much shuffling here because it's not probably going to matter. But just so you see our Nemesis, because our Nemesis is pretty wild. It is good old Dark Phoenix. Now she has toughness, which we're pretty good at dealing with toughness with strength and diversity. She doesn't have guard, which is important, but she does have 12 health and she's hard to stun or confuse. It says when revealed, search the counter deck and discard pile or set aside for Consume the World and reveal it. But we do reveal it, but it doesn't matter because Consume the World is going to be on the table anyways. This is Consume the World. It's a permanent side scheme. It comes in with 6 threat and gives everything an amplify icon. However, when this hits 12 threat, we lose the game, which is really cool text. And then there's no threat on here has an amplify icon. I'm surprised haven't seen more permanent side schemes. I think they're like functioning like environments. We got to see that last week with what's it called, Operation Zero Tolerance. But I think it's really cool to have this like environmental like effect, but also be a modular card that can enter the discard pile. Now we are meant to shuffle these into the deck. I'm not going to just for the simplicity of cleanup because I think we have a lethal this turn, pretty much guaranteed. All right, it's back to us. Funny enough, we cannot mind control Dark Phoenix, right? Because I think she must be elite. Yeah, she's elite, so we can't take control of her, which would have been pretty sick. So all we're going to do here is flip up. And we're going to start here. All we have to do is do 18 damage. We're going to do double to strength and diversity. I'm like confident we have the numbers here. But I only did like napkin math, so hopefully we're not embarrassed. We have more damage in our hands, so we should be fine. So again, it's 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we'll just go ahead and knock out Famine. And then do 1 to War. Cool. And then just so we play our cards, we'll do Psychic Blast. Oh, actually, we're stunned, so we'll attack first. Then we'll do a Psychic Blast. So we'll just deal 4 damage to the villain. And then we'll just let Vivian attack for 1. That's it. Pretty straightforward. That did take us a deck cycle, technically 2 deck cycles, but we did lose 20 cards randomly off the top. The first one did help us because we did not lose any of our recursion or any of our strength and diversities, but just good, just good. Hey, Mr. Self-Destruct, happy Sunday. How's it going? Maybe you have a long weekend this weekend. Hopefully you've been well. Yeah, I mean, number gets big fast, big number, go boom. We're flying. This is like such a big difference, and it's something I do appreciate. Is normally when we play Marvel Champions, a game takes us about like an hour, and it's not because of slow play, but it's because we're pulling up card text and stuff like that, right? Like that just slows down, let alone hanging out in chat. These games have been like half an hour, and it's just because we basically do one deck cycle when we have such a consistent card. All right, we're going to do one more at least. The next one is Apocalypse, which is one of my favorite scenario designs of all time. We had the pleasure of playing it on stream somewhat recently, so you might know how it works, but it's just like the coolest scenario design. And we have some big things to deal with on turn 1, so it's going to be a bit of a problem when there's a 5 health toughness minion that we have to knock out almost immediately. Give me 1 second to clean this up one more time. So we'll reset the board, cover to 9. Or, sorry, set hit points to 9. And we'll clean this up. So we did see Dark Phoenix there for a minute. We could have knocked her out. Again, we had a 13 damage. We have a 1/2 cost card that knocks out Dark Phoenix, and we probably would have been okay. But if we didn't have a strength and diversity there, yeah, it's a bit dicey. But we're on average meant to get one there because there's not that many cards in our deck. Okay. This is something that I mentioned on the winning hand, which is like strength and diversity, for it to be a good card, you only need to have about 5 traits, which is not that hard. A lot of decks have 5 traits in them. As much as a lot of Marvel Champions design really kind of promotes homogenous deck building, where it's like, oh, you have a team up card that cares about X-Men, so you're playing all the X-Men. I would love to live in a world where like people play strength and diversity not as like a disgusting build around like we're doing here, but more so as like it's a fine tempo card that's like flexible and useful. And I think we're at the point where people can do that. It's not that hard to do it, but like nobody does. And I'll be the first to say I don't do it either. But just about any leadership deck, and maybe it's because of the other leadership cards are like busted good. It's like I don't often consider it, even when my deck like naturally has 5 or 6 traits. But I think you should. I think the card is just that good, even on those few traits. Like 5 traits, a 2 for 5 that's flexible, that beats stun or confuse, that beats retaliate, that beats like technically does it beat control? No, I don't think it does, but it beats a lot of stuff. Card's good. Card's really good. Phoenix Rule in my top 5. What a great fit for strength and diversity. Is this deck from the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mr. Self-Destruct. We did not have time, unfortunately, to show this off, which we definitely said we would. Let alone, we haven't had time to like invite Winning Hand to do some like multiplayer. And that's because when the episode came out, the next week, like Netrunner had a new set. So like my time was like very, very much monopolized. But maybe now a month later is better than never, let's just say. Link to that's in the description. Yeah, it doesn't beat Crisis. It beats Patrol, right? Because we're not thwarting, we're removing threat. Crisis, as I clearly know, says you just can't remove threat. Okay. Leadership remains the strongest aspect in solo. The tempo to value proposition is wild. Wonder if Hercules could run this card too. He's also so cracked. Yeah, I could see it. With Hercules too, it considers you doing it, right? Like that's actually a really nice angle, is that you are, you know, doing the attacking and thwarting, which is really important for Hercules. That's actually like, yeah, makes a lot of sense. I could see that line out. All right, here we go. Easter stream, heck yeah, hope you're well. Hey, Matthew, how's it going? We're doing well. We had a long weekend. We had Friday off. We had some family over yesterday. It was a nice time. Played some board games. How are you doing? So, Mr. Self-Destruct, the thing that I can't say is like, I don't think Phoenix is in my top 5 because I don't play her cards. And I do think the big problem with that is like, obviously, strength and diversity is a bit buck wild. Well, how can you sell anybody on Phoenix? Because this is like my favorite thing about Marvel Champions is that so often you can hear somebody talk about something that you're not into, and it's like, you know, contagious. And I really like that. All right, it's Apocalypse. Let's set this up. This one has a bit of an interesting setup. There are 5 pellet minions. We'll be randomly picking one of those, or not picking, but randomly. We have a side scheme on the table that there's 4 of them we have to knock out, or 3 of them. Each one of them has an additional acceleration icons on them. As much as we can rush these down, sometimes you don't want to because they spawn other minions, and then the next ones are harder and harder. And we have a single scheme here at the Age of Apocalypse. Again, of course, we're still playing on Expert. It says we have to play with Dark Riders and Infinites. So let me get the Infinites, but the Dark Riders are some teamwork mid-range minions. Not too bad. So here, oops, not the button I want. This is what I want. Apocalypse. Wolf Among Sheep is a really scary card. It just says Apocalypse attacks again, and that's really scary. There's a couple treacheries that you can only clear by knocking out Apocalypse, and luckily Apocalypse only has 10 health. The prelates, we're going to have to play with them. They all have 5 health toughness, and you want to knock them out in a single turn. And mind you, teamwork is now different, so it's less punishing than it was at some point in time. We also are going to have Gene Pool on the table. Shout out to the Gene to Gene matchup. But that means we can't be blocking with our minions, which is something you want to do against Apocalypse sometimes because he does hit really hard, let alone, hey, that's how leadership does it, doesn't it? So set of the each unused prelate minions aside, the Tyrant's Throne side scheme reveal the Heart of the Empire. That's here. We'll show it in a second. The first player reveals a random set aside prelate. So we'll do 1 to 5, 1 on left. 5. It's Mr. Sinister. Cool. So these I'll put here. Did we add our side schemes back to the deck? I think we did. I'll count the deck to make sure. Mr. Sinister has shown up on a couple different iterations. This one's like, not the most interesting. Retaliate 1, toughness, villainous. So just keyword soup, which makes sense. This guy does copy things. But yeah, hard to deal with on turn 1 because we don't have a lot of big blasts of damage. We have a 3 for 7, but yeah, this is generally going to be hard to deal with. Our best case scenario is to draw like a cheap ally or the Children of the Atom and a Strength and Diversity because we hit 5 or 6 on turn 1. We technically need 6 as much as we can attack Mr. Sinister as our first action. All right, the Age of Apocalypse. Really interesting how this works. There's a couple of levers you can play with because you can defeat Apocalypse to clear the threat or you can let him advance. That's another option. So X on this is the numeral in Apocalypse's printed hit point value. So it's currently 10. Now it's only getting 1 per turn. It starts with 1, but that will increase. It's technically 2 per turn because of this acceleration. And it says force interrupt when Apocalypse would be defeated. Instead, wipe all attachments and wipe all threat from this, which is pretty great. That's it. This is the only thing. If this advances, though, you'll see the text on Apocalypse. We're allowed to let it advance once, which is really fun design. Villain name Apocalypse. We can bring this back. Yeah. Stage 2. Okay. So Apocalypse comes in with toughness and steady. Only 10 health. Sorry. Oh, wrong stage. 1 second. We do start on stage 3 on expert. So 10 health. When the main scheme is completed, remove all threat from it, ignoring a crisis icons. Flip this card to Apocalypse 4, which has bigger numbers and bigger health, which is both an upside and a downside. That's mostly all the setup. We just need to make sure we get our gene pool stuff and we should be good. Just get unleashed faster and her cards are cracked. I think I just love the Psionic cards more than Phoenix and I enjoy her stuff more than Psylocke. Yeah, that's one of the downsides is we're not touching any of the Psionic cards and they're very good. I think this game, let's try and race Unleashed because we have never been Unleashed today so far. Giving ourselves Retaliate is kind of nice against Mr. Sinister. It gets our attack up. That's the one thing about the scenario though, is like I like having 3 Thwart. It's just good. 3 Thwart's really good. But yeah, I could see rushing it out for sure. Mind Control is one of my favorite cards. Triangle and green with the Psionic event plus Karma pinned down is one of my favorite builds in Champs. Oh, I need to try that. That does sound fun. All right, we have Gene Pool, and there should be 7 other cards. Similarly with Gene Pool, just like we did in the first scenario, is we have all these infinite soldiers, which means we need to make sure we're not blocking with allies because these things will get Surge and Quick Strike and all the bad stuff. There should be a side scheme, no? This is not enough cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's it. I guess there is no side scheme. All right, it's Gene Pool. 4 threat. And again, this won't get 1 per turn like it did against Unus. Just if somebody dies to retaliate or an attack. This is bad. These go into the deck. These go into the deck. That's it. Hey, Layla, can't stick around. Wanted to pop in and say, hey, looking forward to watching this later. Hey, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for popping in. I think you asked a question about binders. Let me answer that at the end of the stream in your comment. But apologies I didn't get back to you last week. Hopefully you're well. What I like about Phoenix is she has access to the fun Psionic events, Power of the Mind and X-Chain, and team building help pay for events to make them much more acceptable for their value. Yeah, they are expensive. And I do want to say, right, like that's one of the downsides of this deck is there's a lot of things that you can do with Phoenix that are a bit more bespoke, right? And we're not doing them, right? Like Power of the Mind? Why do I not have that card? It must have a slightly different name. But Power of the Mind is basically a resource that generates 2 resources as long as you're paying a Psionic card, and her cards are almost all Psionic. All of that shtick we're not interacting with. All the Psionic kicker cards or payoff cards, we're not interacting with them. So we're showing like a very limited version. Like we basically have constructed a deck that goes out of its way to make Phoenix's cards look bad. And that's because they're not good cards unless you build into them, seemingly, at least from my experience. So yeah, we'll see. That was Power of the Mind. She's great fit for strength of numbers, but you're missing out on all her unique stuff. Yeah, for sure. And maybe I should go back and play that protection deck because like Karma is such a good card. And then having a 4-cost Karma that you can grab with not build support, but the other one, superpower training, seems really, really fun. And I never liked Karma, and then you play her and you're like, wait a second, that's just an absurd amount of value. Because 4-cost allies are really expensive to play. But this is a 4-cost ally that can still block later on. But if you just take control of a non-elite minion, and that minion has like 5 or 6 health and toughness, like obviously that's more scenario specific, but that becomes like a 4-cost ally that you get the full ally, and then you get another block on top of it. Let alone, not only did you pay a 4-cost ally to get another ally, but you defeated a minion without having to defeat a minion. Like so much layers of value you get from there. Phoenix and Psylocke are becoming my top 5-ish heroes for me, but I also love Nebula. So what do I know? I mean, Nebula's sick. I have a huge new respect of Nebula as of 2025. I replayed Psylocke recently and I wasn't the most happy, but okay. I feel like we shuffled this enough. All right, this scenario is going to be a bit harder even than the last two. Usually that's how it goes through a box, but this does present more problems on turn 1 than other scenarios. Notably, Mr. Sinister can attack us for 4 on turn 1, which is pretty wild. Oh, I guess we didn't show Heart of the Empire. It just says that threat cannot be removed from this while there's a prelate minion in play. And yeah, there's one there for sure. And when defeated, we grab the next random prelate minion, 1 and 4, and then we flip this over. The backside of this has the same functional text, but it has 2 acceleration icons. So we really need to set up relatively quickly. And Apocalypse does hit pretty hard. Does actually hit hard. 3 in a card, let alone there's attachments that are permanent that give him +1 attack. And there's just multiple cards in this deck. There are 2 assaults, and then there's 3 copies of like cheap and something that just says Apocalypse attacks again if there's no prelate, which means we can be attacked for 14 damage in a single turn. So making sure we have chump block allies is actually going to be really important, as much as the gene pool punishes you for that. This is a tough scenario. I'm so surprised people like Unsaba Noor more than this Apocalypse. I think this Apocalypse is just like so well done. And Saba Noor just feels like it's a really good final battle because it's just like you versus a big guy that's a bit unpredictable. But this is like so many levers to play with. All right, welcome to Shuffling the Stream. We got to do this one too. I'm pretty sure the side schemes I put back. And we took out Bling, right? Yep, 2 side schemes. No Bling. Hey Christian, I'm back playing through a bunch of old heroes that I haven't played as much as I'm going through an X23 leadership run. Are you doing I'm assuming you're playing Sidekick. Oh my god, is that deck cracked? I think that's one of the most powerful decks I remember playing in a long time. Is X23 leadership with Sidekick. Because like there's turns that you just put out 20 damage without sweating. And that's on solo goes pretty hard. And it's flexible damage too. It's like small attacks, which are even better. Yeah, broken. Yeah, straight broken. Straight absurd. Fun though, but absurd. I just want to play more X23 though, because her kit is like so flexible. She plays every aspect in an interesting way. Like the sort of deck where you block with X23 just to get the free ready, but you don't want to, you always need to take damage. Like it's so cool. Again, if you're not familiar with X23, can I find her? I guess it's her textbook. After she takes any amount of damage per phase, once per phase, ready her. So in theory, you can defend for 2 and hope that the villain is always hitting you for slightly more. So you only leak 1 damage and then you ready, which is functionally just like a free 2 block a turn, like a free 2 healing, kind of like Wolverine. That is just like so cool. Well, yeah, it turns out like leadership is just busted because her whole kit's great. I think I prefer the narrative of this scenario, and it reminds me of Magneto, which is a personal favorite scenario. Go Apocalypse. Yeah, Apocalypse is so good. Much prefer Saba Noor to this. I still like this. AOA might have been the best collection of scenarios of any box. Yeah, I think it does. If the, the campaign mechanics were any good, this would easily be my favorite box. Did 36 damage in 1 turn against Spiral. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. All right, let's go. We need to knock out Mr. Sinister this turn. It's a priority. We're not that good at doing it. It's not only retaliate, which means small attacks suck, not only toughness, we have no piercing, but of course 5 health. So we have to make that make sense. Hey, Jalen Horn, how's it going? How you been? How's your weekend? Phoenix suit. We haven't rushed jumping over to the other side of Phoenix or the unleashed side of Phoenix. This gives us steady. I do think Apocalypse might have some stun or confuse. It's been a minute. There's not that many like thematic Apocalypse cards. It's more about the prelates and the infinites. So I don't know if we keep this. Strength we probably always keep. Phoenix Force. This readies us. It's a bit expensive, but it means that we can like attack twice for 1. Not that. Sorry, Phoenix Firebird is the name of the card. It's mid. Strength and Diversity, that would be really good. All we're looking for here is 1 good ally, because Strength and Diversity means that we can do a damage, it beats Retaliate, it beats toughness. It's like exactly what we want. So here we're looking for Children of the Atom, Vivian, or Hugin and Moonin. Those are our best cases. But even if we draw like a 2-threat ally, or sorry, a 2-trait ally, we can knock out Sinister, I'm pretty sure. We might not keep 2 energies or 2 doubles, and we don't keep the X Jet. So I honestly think there's a chance that we don't keep 2 doubles. Our deck has 9 allies. One of them, unfortunately, is Cyclops. I think we can actually mulligan these away and keep these. There's a chance that the second energy, we should be drawing deeper into our deck, because we have to remember we always have Phoenix Force, so we always have like a 7 hand size. So it might be greedy to keep 2 doubles here. The difference between energy and strength is not important. So I think we actually will mulligan away a resource in my opening hand, which is not something you often see on this channel, because they're obviously quite good. But I think not knocking out Mr. Sinister on turn 1 is going to be a huge detriment. All right, that's a don't die button, which I could see actually playing in this scenario. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, I'm glad that we did not keep the resource. The problem with Beast is it's only one extra trait for Strength and Diversity. It means we can get the double back though, but it's going to be close. I think we can still knock out Mr. Sinister and it won't be the worst, especially because we have the Power of Leadership. So just to do the math here, again, Mr. Sinister on the table is the Prelate version, has 5 health, Retaliate, and Toughness. So we do Power of Leadership for Beast. Beast can go grab a double back. That's the best resource we have here because we're not scaled up. Then we can play this for this, and then we can play Telekinetic Shield with Phoenix Force. That means we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, and then Beast can defeat Mr. Sinister, and we can threat 3 on Gene Pool. Actually, have a pretty perfect start. We were so rewarded for not keeping the energy, which I thought was a pretty heads-up play, and huge, because if we didn't draw Beast here, this hand is butt. As much as, like, I guess we could play Rise from the Ashes, which we'll do it on a later cycle. Went to Sweden's biggest convention for the analog games. Not a single Marvel Champions things in sight. Think I'm the only one playing it here. Oh no. What did you see that was cool though? Man, I'm like so jealous about convention attendance. It seems like just like the coolest thing. I'm in Homestead. Oh, never had a demo room, but I didn't have time to check it out. Oh, sick. Yeah, sick. I wonder who's demoing it in Sweden. I'm wondering who traveled out for that. That's awesome. All right, our alter ego text doesn't matter. We'll flip up to hero mode. Okay. So we're going to go and spend Beast with Strength and Power of Leadership for our genius here, Beast. And we're just going to use Beast. In theory, we can go grab a resource from a discard pile or from our deck. We're going to go for the discard pile here, just to make sure we have enough resources left in the deck. And just so that we don't make the energy feel like it was left out this turn, we're going to grab the energy. It doesn't matter. All right, we'll do energy for Strength and Diversity. Our triggers, we are 4, because X-Men is a double. So Strength and Diversity, you know how it is. Strength and Diversity, very importantly, Strength and Diversity. This is not an attack, so we don't have to deal with Retaliate. So we get 4 instances of this. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Just good enough. Then we'll use Beast to attack for 2, and because it defeats Mr. Sinister, we don't have to worry about the Retaliate. Mr. Sinister is in the victory display. It's not coming back. Okay, we will thwart for 3. Keep down Gene Pool, which inherently there's no text on Apocalypse that cares about it, but there's text on the Prelates and other encounter cards. And then we'll just generate a resource using our hero text off of this, and we'll go ahead and play a Telekinetic Shield. We'll attach it to our face. Again, we're once again hoping that we get a small boost here so we can block 2 attacks. It's such a big difference. Sorry, that's not it at all. Because blocking 2 attacks versus 1 attack, it's different. It definitely feels different, and that's because it is. We'll pass. Good start. 1 Strength and Diversity down, but we needed it there. Oh, me too. Very cute. All right, Power of Leadership. Let's see if we can get one of our leadership allies. What's it called? Be really good here, actually. Black Panther. Power of Leadership. Okay. Mental Paralysis. If we find a minion, there are a couple there. It blanks their box. No, it doesn't blank their box, so teamwork is still an issue. Slingshot. Hey, that's a good one. Genius. Cyclops. Weird hand. We can still set up and get some allies on the table, which is okay. Now with acceleration, this goes to 3. Apocalypse is going to attack us for 3 and a card. We will take it to the Telekinetic Shield to face. So 3, 2 boosts on exhaustion. Bummer. Shield's broken. So that was a 2-cost toughness. Fine. 1 encounter card, Caught Off Guard. It has Surge because there's nothing here to do. It says discard an upgrade or support. We can't discard this because it is permanent, so it can't be discarded. So this gets Surge. This is the bad one, Wolf Among Sheep. So it's good to see where these are, especially her on full health, because if there's no Prelate minion in play, and there should never be a Prelate minion in play, Apocalypse activates against us, which can be up to 6 damage. Here, we have 3 threat that we can clear from the Age of Apocalypse. I think that's okay. It's really hard to jump down sometimes because there's acceleration and Apocalypse schemes for 2. So even if we clear this down to 0, this will go to 2, and Apocalypse can bring it up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means On a lot of board states, if we draw an encounter card that says Apocalypse Schemes, like a Wolf Among Sheep, let alone the 2 advances, we do just Advanced Apocalypse 4, which isn't the end of the world, but it's not great. So we have to either decide by healing 2 or thwarting 3. Beast is probably going to thwart 2. So I actually think we can block 2 here, because I don't think we're going to use our thwart 3 on this turn. We don't need to. So 3, 4, 5 on our obligation. We block for 2. We take 3 anyways. Down to 6. And that's us. Okay. So we're going to try and unleash ourselves, because damage, that's a cool thing about the scenario, is that when we're unleashed, our damage goes up to 3, our attack, goes up to 3, our thwart goes down, but you can always clear the main scheme by just defeating Apocalypse. So we actually can use attack as a defense stat, or as a thwart stat more accurately, which is pretty cool. All right, we haven't mentioned Cyclops yet. We're not excited because X-Men is not a trait we need. We start with X-Men, so I don't think we're going to play him, but there's not much else we can play with this hand. So we can do 1, 2, 3 for Slingshot, and then 1, 2, 3 for Cyclops, and then probably just spend our allies going to the face. We have to watch out, though, because if Apocalypse attacks next turn, it could be for 6 damage, so we have to block unless we're jumping down, which I don't think we're going to be jumping down. So we'll spend 1, 2, 3 on Slingshot. We could always use Slingshot's text, but there's nothing else with our hand we want to play, so this seems good enough. She won't be bouncing back unless we spend an energy. And we'll do 1, 2, 3 for our friend Scott, and Scott will just give us 2 counters. We have to remember that these counters are gone. We gained 2 more traits. We're at 6. And he's here. He's fine. He's fine. He's a guy. He's a nice guy. Not being excited by Cyclops, it feels personal. I mean, I'm almost never excited by Cyclops, I'll be honest. And it's because I grew up in the like James Marsden era films, and like that character is not interesting. That was the Cyclops I grew up with, like James Marsden X2 Cyclops, who's like so boring, incredibly boring. All right, so we can just send damage. It's always nice to keep Apocalypse on low health, because again, if we defeat Apocalypse, we remove all the threat. Unfortunately, we don't have a good interaction with toughness, so we'll just attack for 1. Or sorry, for 2. We'll do Slingshot for 2 into the villain. And then we'll just do Beast for 2 into this, just to keep it safe. James Marsden Cyclops going to be MVP of Doomsday. Book it. Are there X-Men in that? I'm not sure. I have no idea. Is he coming back to play Cyclops? I guess I don't know who else is playing Cyclops modernly. We draw. Black Panther's here. That's good. Strength and Diversity. Okay, so we could do a double turn. New recruits. Could clear that to get another ally. Strength in numbers, so we can draw off with Beast if we want to, as much as our ally slots are kind of full. And we have a telekinetic attack, which is the big one. It does a lot of damage if you want to pay 3 cost for this thing. Read between the lines. I don't. This comes to 3. Apocalypse is attacking for 3 in a card. We legally have to block here, because this could just defeat us if it's a 3 boost. And I do think there's a couple 3 boosts in the counter set. I feel like this has a good average number, but I probably should add a number that just says how many 3 boosts there are, because that's a number they want to play around. Average boost is 1. That's pretty low. Average boost on this is 3, but it doesn't matter. These are not in the counter deck. Excuse me. Average boost on Dark Riders is probably 2. Yeah, 1.2, excuse me. So it's closer to 2 than anything else. And the average boost on this is probably pretty low too, 0.7. The issue is the expert cards always have 3 boosts on them. So like, I don't want to throw the whole game on turn 2. So I guess we will defend here, because our stats are not doing much. 3. No boost, but attached on Cyberpathy. So this just makes him scheme a bit worse. After Apocalypse schemes, add 1 threat to every side scheme. But it's only 3 damage. We only take 1. There's no way to clear this, but when we defeat Apocalypse, we clear all attachments. So that's the only way we can get rid of this. Counter card. All right, we got both of the attachments. Molecular, no, not you. Molecular control. Like the art on this one. So it gets Retaliate 1 and Stalwart. Do you think if NSG would ever buy the Netrunner copyright? No, but I don't think they need to. So like, what does that mean? Because in terms of what Netrunner is, like the game engine, the parts, the pieces, they're just making cards that are compatible with Netrunner. They're allowed to do that, from my understanding. Netrunner is like a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people. Like Android is the FFG universe. They're not really using that that much anymore, so that's fine. Most of the Fox X-Men are coming back for Doomsday. Oh, sick. Interesting. Okay, so we can either clear Thwart or we can knock out Apocalypse. Our Strength and Diversity does 6. We don't have a lot of resources in our hand. We drew them pretty early. But we have, of course, Phoenix Force, so we want to. You can use the Android IP characters, but that's not Netrunner. If they wanted that, they'd have to get the Android license. I don't think they're interested in the Android license. because of the world that they've been making, and very important to know, NSG has been making Netrunner longer than FFG ever did, is their own world, and it's honestly cool. It's like great. So I don't think they need that. But at the end of the day, the Netrunner license is like really weird because there's a bunch of different people. It's like there's the backbone of Netrunners based off of the Talsorian games, like the cyberpunk kind of universe, the RPG from the 80s, Mike Pondsmith. And then there's also like the Wizards of the Coast Netrunner, which was like the card game from 1996 that Richard Garfield made. Then there's Android Netrunner, which like had to pay licensing or get permission from both of those companies, and there's NSG on top of that. I miss New Angeles. New Angeles is like the board game. I have one. It's cool. But yeah, the world that they're building is really quite interesting. And as much as you don't see named characters from the old worlds, you sometimes see some homages, but I don't think we're missing a lot. Okay, the also issue with molecular controls, we have Retaliate. And Retaliate's not fantastic, but luckily if we do play Strength in Numbers, we get around it. So unfortunately, we play Black Panther. It's our whole hand, and we can't play Strength in Numbers. So I'm assuming we might hold on to Black Panther, because there's only one more Strength and Diversity in the deck. So we could draw cards. At a minimum, we could like use Strength and Diversity to draw Beast and probably Cyclops, just to get a couple more cards in our hand. We, in terms of resources, we have our, we haven't drawn our big resource yet. Oh yeah, we have one more. The only resource we have left in our deck is the one that generates 3 resources on this board, which would be pretty good, let's be honest. But what are we trying to do on this turn is most important. This could be a jump down angle. It's easier to jump down now while this is only on 1 acceleration. If we knock at Apocalypse, this clears, but we probably want to clear this when it's higher threat. So my guess is we don't knock at Apocalypse. We clear this down as far as we can go, and then we knock at Apocalypse next turn so that we don't have to thwart this. That's like the cool thing you can do with Apocalypse is let this go high and then just knock at Apocalypse. If that's the case, if we play Strength and Diversity, we can do 3 here, 1 here, 2 in Apocalypse, and that's good enough because he'll be on 4, and 4 is within reaching distance. So if that's the case, I do think we strengthen numbers against almost all our characters besides Cyclops, because I think we can use Cyclops this turn, but no, Cyclops is not doing anything this turn. Not you, but yeah, I think we can just draw 3 cards here. So strengthen numbers, the other strength. We have 3 strength cards in our deck. We'll just exhaust Beast, Slingshot, and Cyclops, because there's not much they have to do here, because we'll clear this. So we'll draw 3 cards. First, strength and numbers, useless. Second, telepathic trigger, we could play that. Third, Hugin Moonin, which we don't have another ally slot, but okay, that's fine. Actually, there's a chance we could have kept Cyclops ready, because I think clearing new recruits would have been better this turn, because it uses our resources a bit better. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. Okay. So we can still do it, I think. We'll play new recruits. When this is cleared, we can go get an X-Men ally, a new one that doesn't take up an ally slot. And then I think we'll just do 1, 2 for Strength and Diversity. Because we have no way of clearing this on this side, so I guess we're clearing with Strength and Diversity, which is fine. I mean, that clears 6. We're going to draw another Strength and Diversity pretty likely, especially with Black Panther. So yeah, this is acceptable. So again, we're going to play this. It has 6. Again, X-Men's useless. Shield, Spy, Genius, X-Men, Psionic, Restrained. So that's 6. So we're going to do 2 here. New recruits, it fires. We're going to go grab Bling. Add her to our hand. And then we have 4 triggers left over. We'll clear 3 here, and then we'll just do 1 to Apocalypse. This we might not care about as much as there are some counter cards that just add threat to it, which can be bad. So Apocalypse will take 1. Okay. Then with this hand, I think we just play... Yeah, we just play Bling, I think. That's good to have as a chump block. We're never going to use the toughness until we need to. It does not take up an ally slot. Then we're going to jump down and nurse our wounds, and we'll hold on to Black Panther, which guarantees the Strength and Diversity next turn, and we go up to 7 traits. We'll hop down. We'll pass. Oh, Cyberpathy means that, yeah, actually defeating Apocalypse would be a bit better, because this is going to add a bunch of threat to a bunch of different things. It's not my favorite thing that we could have done here. I forgot about that. Cyberpathy means we're much more likely to want to defeat Apocalypse, because this will add 3 threat to the table, which is not great. In fact, 4... Oh, it's only sides games, yeah, so 3 extra tight. Telepathic Trickery, Viv, Chilling the Atoms, a good draw. White Hot Room it's actually a good card because it allows us to recur like incidentally, or sorry, repair ourselves incidentally. And then we have a mind control. So the only way that we can get access to our Strength and Diversity is by playing Black Panther. That's a bummer. We have 1 copy of the card in our deck that gives us 3 resources. That we definitely wanted to draw with this hand because Black Panther is expensive. So we'll see how this hand works out. How could NSG use Android IP names such as Kentucky NBN? I'm not 100% sure. They have been for a while. They've been moving away from a lot of other stuff, and I think maybe it's only a matter of time before they stop using those names. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. All right, this goes to 2. Apocalypse schemes, this could be bad, but we took a measured, let's say, risk here. So Apocalypse schemes for 3 and a card. 1, 2, 3. Boost, good to not draw that. This gives a toughness, right? Give the prelate, otherwise give the Apocalypse a toughness, okay. So scheming for 1, 2, 3. So it puts 3 on here, we go to 5. However, we have to do the text on cyberpathy, which says we have to put 1 threat on each side scheme. So 2, 3. 1 encounter card, don't get a thwart. Culling the weak. So this is what I was talking about. This is at the end not that bad, but we put 4 threat on here. Puts it to 6. The big breakpoints on this are 3 and 6. 3 means we have quick strike minions. 6 means we have quick strike minions with surge. And that's pretty scary because we haven't seen any. They're all still in the deck. So we want to clear at least 1 off of this to prevent surge. And I think we'll have the time to do that. Okay, so allies. Cyclops is not going to survive this turn. We're going to replace him relatively quickly with Black Panther, which gives us 2 more traits. And then we have the ability to play the card underneath Black Panther. The question is, can we hold off for 1 more turn? And I think there's a chance we can. So we might just play Black Panther and set up. It might be good enough because we have a bling block. We can use Slingshot to take 2 threat off of this, which helps. And then we want to clear this when it's on 7 and hope we don't draw an advance encounter card, which would have to be exactly one of the advances. There is 2 left in the deck. And we've seen 2 Wolf Among Sheep, which is a good start. So let's plan the turn out. If we want to play Black Panther, we'd probably do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can Children of the Atom on when we jump up, which is good. And she being non-profit allows a lot of graces as far as companies throwing out C&D demands. Yeah, like I just don't think there's a huge. I'm not a lawyer. They have law teams and like law people that have looked into this. They've been doing this for a while now. I'm assuming it's not beneficial to anybody for what they're doing. Like technically, they're keeping the brand and interest in an existing brand alive. So like I don't know. Maybe at some point bad things can happen, but like they've been doing it for a long time and doing it at a massive level. And as a nonprofit, I think that helps a heck of a lot. Yeah, but I do think it's in their interest, like to move away as far as they can from existing IP. And at some point, maybe that means they'll move away from faction names. I wouldn't be super surprised. All right, I think we recover here. Yeah, we just recover 3. That means we can put a counter on Phoenix Force for their alter ego because we're going to lose a couple in a second. We'll hop up. We'll use the Phoenix Force counter to just go ahead and play Children of the Atom. So we gain a bunch of extra traits, a pair of traits. So we gain 2 more traits. We gain X Factor and X Force. Then our ally slots are full, so we can knock out Beast, which means we lose the 1 trait. We could just knock out Cyclops too, which means we lose no traits, which seems a bit better to me, but it's a bit greedy, but it's a bit better, but it's a bit greedy. We lose 2 thwarting, which I don't think matters too much. We'll use Slingshot, who will thwart for 2, bringing this down. So we still have a quick strike minion, but that's it. We'll use Cyclops, who will, I think, thwart 2 just for safety. No, I guess we'll just do it off this. We only get like messed up by the advance, which is 2 cards on a big deck. And then we'll spend 4 to replace Cyclops with Black Panther. And of course, when Black Panther comes in play, we can go search for a blue event, not you. In our discard pile, we can attach it and we can play as if it was in our hand, which means next turn might actually be the double strength and diversity turn, which is really good because you can knock out Heart of the Empire and then use Heart of the Empire to use the rest of the strength and diversity to knock out the character that shows up after you knock out Heart of the Empire, which is actually really quite good. That means we lose no traits, but we gain Avenger and we gain Wakanda. So we're up at 11 as much as I'll check when it matters. We want to keep the toughness. We want to keep Beast. We'll pass. Let's go. Telekinetic action, grant ward. We have shield spy. We don't need it. Blast, blade, call for backup. Call for backup can get us another Black Panther in the same turn, but I think resources, we drew them all at the top. We still haven't drawn our 3 resource card. We'd love to get it, but we'll see what happens. This goes to 7. Apocalypse. The villain is attacking for 3 in a card. We'll block with bling. 3, 4, 5, losing the toughness. 1 encounter card. Oh, no. All right. The bad thing happened at a time that it actually does matter. So Shadow of the Past is kicking in. This is a pretty bad time to do it. Let's see how bad it truly is. Dark Phoenix. This is how you lose games. I do think a lot of people think when you draw Dark Phoenix, the game is over. I think there's a chance. Toughness, 12 health. If we had another copy of what's it called in our hand, we'd be in a good spot. Another copy in Strength and Diversity, but it's in our bottom like 6 cards. So she has 12 health. She has steady. She has toughness. She grabs consume the world, which we need to remove a lot of threat from this. Technically, the acceleration doesn't matter. Sorry, the amplify matters less if you can chump block, but this is not an easy scenario to chump block in, and we have to clear the threat off of this. We'll use the weighted die, I guess I have. And we'll shuffle 3 cards into the deck. This, I think, adds, it makes Dark Phoenix activate, or it adds threat to consume the world. So we want to make sure we knock out Dark Phoenix this turn. Age of Apocalypse will go to 9, which is not good. So we have to decide whether we want to knock out Apocalypse, who now has 7 health plus toughness, or we want to like do some threat work. Not a great turn. We got a lot of work to do, that's for sure. Okay. Oh, I think we forgot the Cyclops text. I think we definitely did. When Cyclops leaves play, we're meant to remove 2 counters from this. I think we definitely forgot that. It's forced, yeah. So you just like get them on loan, which is weird. It does rescue you if you're in a bad spot. All right, then. So things we can do. We can play Strength and Diversity for 11, which will deal with Phoenix to some extent. And then I think we can afford to play a telekinetic attack using our Phoenix Force. Now let's see where we want to put that damage, because telekinetic attack, it does 7, and 7 is good. It means that we can probably knock out Dark Phoenix and the toughness and knock out Apocalypse all in the same turn. But that's actually going to be quite interesting, which way this goes. The other option is to play Psychic Blast, which, like, fine. This is 2 for 4. 2 for 8 on this turn would actually be really good. But my guess is here, we want to do, yeah, this into that. So we just need to make sure we hit the breakpoints well on, again, Strength and Diversity, because this is going to be like the skill testing thing on this turn. Again, we have New, Avenger, Wakanda, Shield Spy, Genius, Restrained, Psionic, X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force. 11. Cool. So we did that right. So we definitely want to take out the toughness. 7 damage will clearly knock out Apocalypse. So I'm assuming we always start with the Strength and Diversity, and we'll play it, and we'll do 11. So we're going to do 1, non-attack, we don't take Retaliate. We'll do probably 1 here. 2. So we have 9 more. We can drop Dark Phoenix to 9 health. 9 health hits some breakpoints, as much as we're going to lose allies on it. Yeah, we're going to lose allies on it. The other option is we telekinetic attack Dark Phoenix, which does 7, which means we can do damage to Apocalypse, which, like, no matter what, we're not taking Retaliate. So we have some options here. Again, we have 9 left. So we can do 7 into Apocalypse, discarding all the attachments, resetting the threat on the main scheme, and then we can do 2 to Dark Phoenix, knocking her to 10. Then telekinetic drops her down to 3, so it's awkward no matter what. We attack for 1 and then 2 with Black Panther. That probably gets it there, but I do think we want to thwart 3 on this every turn, because Apocalypse is going to hit pretty hard this turn, attacking for 4 with the Amplify. Are we going to deck out? No, and we're guaranteed a Strength and Diversity here. Or not guaranteed, but there's 1 more in the bottom 7 cards, so it's very likely we get one. We definitely need one next turn, because I think we're going to have to clean up the Consume the World. Oh, weird. Very weird. Okay, so we have 9 points of damage or thwart to do. I think we need to knock out Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse, so I don't think we worry about threat. So where we put it doesn't actually matter. So we'll do 7 to Apocalypse, which defeats Apocalypse. And Apocalypse says when Apocalypse would be defeated, instead, clear threat, clear attachments, reset health. So Apocalypse goes back up to 10. Villains at 10. We have 2 more. We'll do it to Dark Phoenix. She's on 10. Black Panther, we'll attack for 2. We'll play telekinetic attack using one of our force counters. So this does 7, so she's down to 1. And then we will just attack for 1. We want to keep these characters on the table because we might have to block with them, but more importantly, we have another Strength and Diversity coming up if we want to be greedy. We're going to take a big attack here, so we probably have to block, which means Strength and Diversity will deal with Consume the World, which is good. And we'll pass. So that was a road bump. We lost 13 value that turn. And with 13 value, we could have cleared Heart of the Empire, draw a Prelate, draw that. Because again, we added 13 plus 6. We drew 19 extra things to deal with that turn. And it does obviously slow you down, but like, I would call it a road bump, not a disaster, which is like, that's mostly because we had a Strength and Diversity in hand as much as on Black Panther. All right, we have to draw well. Draw 5. Triskelion? No. Phoenix Firebird, Strength and Numbers. That means we're guaranteed to get our Strength and Diversity, though. That's good. There it is. Kalu. Kalu doesn't really add that much, but we can block with an ally as much as there'll be gene pool repercussions. All right, this goes to 2. A naked Apocalypse now is attacking for 3 and an Amplify. So this can be up to 7 damage, which does not defeat us. I think we will block for 2 here because our activation is not super necessary. Yeah, it's not super necessary. And we don't want to block with allies, so we'll defend. This is a turn too that we're probably going to like use a bunch of our allies as well to just like deal with the board because they go back into our deck, and like Beast back into our deck is good. Slingshot back into our deck is good. Black Panther back into our deck is good. Bling is the one that we don't really care about because her on the table is fine. So we are going to use our allies a bit aggressively. So I think we do block 2 here because threat for 3 doesn't seem super important. So 3, 4, 5, we take 3. We blocked. Encounter card, the Apocalypse Solution. This card is rough. Has Crisis. And it says, when defeated, discard the top 10 cards in the counter deck. Not your deck, then counter deck, which gets you to acceleration a lot faster, as much as this could discard the advances and give us a bit more information of how we should be playing the game. It's back to us. Okay, so we have some interesting decisions here. And that's the thing, is like strength in numbers is really weird on this turn, because strength in numbers means we can draw the last 2 cards in our deck. The problem is we know what those cards are, and we want to get some of our allies into the bin before, let alone we want to make sure we play strength and diversity first. So I think we're going to strengthen diversity to clear the table, and then we might have a window here to jump down. We'll see. Again, we're kind of floating water, treading water, but we're kind of set up here. The last 2 cards is a Psychic Blast and a Band Together, which are not super useful. So strength in numbers is like not great here. Kalu hits neither of those cards, right? Yeah, Psychic Blast, no, neither of those cards. Okay, we could go Unleash. Could go Unleash mode. I think we do go Unleash mode, actually. It seems pretty good here. So let's just start by doing Phoenix Firebird. Do we unleash ourselves right away? F it. Let's unleash ourselves. So we're going to spend a resource on this. I don't know what the repercussions are of this, but we're going to spend a resource off this. So we generated 2. And this card says, excuse me, after you spend the last resource, flip this over. We are now Phoenix Force, the unleashed side. So Phoenix Force now says we have -2 thwart, which maybe that's okay, but we have +2 attack, and we now have the unleashed trait. So it replaces the restrained trait. We no longer have resource generators, and it says after power counter is flipped here, if there are 4 more power counters, flip back. So that's a nice way that Cyclops can get us back to on track, whatever that means. Okay. Anyways, that lets us still play Strength and Diversity, which has 11 on it. So let's deal with 11. So we're going to do 6 stays on the table. I'm just going to put it over here with the other permanent. So we no longer have that amplify. We're going to do 7, 8, 9 off of the Apocalypse Solution. So we have to discard 10 from the top of the deck. That was 9. We have 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got rid of a lot of minions, but we didn't get any of advances or any activate cards. So that's probably not great for us. We did get rid of 2 Infinite Soldiers, which are like one of the reasons we play around Gene Pool. And then we have 2 more here. I think we just clear this so we can jump down. And then I think we want to consider getting allies into the bin before we deck out this turn. So our attack doesn't matter here. Black Panther we want to get in the bin. Slingshot we want to get in the bin. Beast we want to get in the bin. Yeah, we're just going to like send full damage into Apocalypse, let alone deal with the table. Can we clear the Heart of the Empire? If we clear it with 2 of our characters. We get a thing, but we get more acceleration. It might have been a good turn to clear it, but I don't think we have to rush that down. So I think we're just going to get Apocalypse to low health so that we can like bounce back when we defeat this next turn. So we'll attack for 2. We'll attack for 2. We'll thwart for 2 on this. And then that's good enough. So Apocalypse takes 4. And our deck is now full of allies. Cool. Down to 6. Our hand, I think we're just going to go ahead and play the Triskelion. This just means we have another ally slot. We haven't needed so far. Like, we don't need to hit the 1 for 15s. And I don't think we hold onto the strength of numbers for obvious reasons, and we'll just jump down and pass. All right. Look at our board state. It's a bit different than some other games, but we're doing okay. And now this is where our cards get so much better. Oh, maybe it was a bummer to like just use all our allies before our band together. I'll be honest. That might have been wrong. But yeah, this is now a lot of damage. This is 8 damage. As long as there's minions. And there's a lot of like 3 to 5 health minions in this encounter set. We draw an encounter card. Scary time to jump down, but we might be okay here. Let's go. I hope Daredevil's hero ability lets him ignore the text box on a card in play once per turn because Matthew can't read if it's not in Braille. There's no shot. I think there's a chance that he's going to be able to see what's coming, kind of like Falcon. That's my read, right? Like you can look at the top card of your deck or the villain deck. I'd be so happy. I think some of the sort of like design patterns we haven't seen yet, perfect blocking would be really cool. Like if you could see the top card of the deck and then you're get a benefit when you block an attack and you take exactly 0 damage, like don't overblock, you know what I mean? You get some benefit. That would be awesome. Like ready yourself. And then you have cards that you can spend to give yourself additional amounts of plus defense. That might pigeonhole you into defense. So it has to be a bit more like, you know, robust than that. But I imagine it has to do something with the fact that he can like kind of, you know, he doesn't have precognition, but he is very good at seeing what's coming. Oh, this number is devastated, right? We're mutant. Okay, we're X-Men, psionic, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do we know when we get more info? Yeah, FFG said that on April 16th. So not this week, but the next week, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like we'll get an article about the new box, which means we usually see the heroes and then a bit of the villains, but almost always they show us both heroes. April 16th, which good for them for communicating it, because the amount of posts every Thursday, people are like, oh, they hate us. They never think about us. It's just like, it's just going to take a couple weeks. It's nicer to have a date though. Yeah, I believe they said the 16th of April. Yeah, they're going to tell us about Fear No Evil. Yeah, they were a bit cryptic about it. They didn't want to say Fear No Evil, but like, it's Fear No Evil. It sounds like it. All right, 3, mental paralysis. We don't need this card. 4, Psychic Blast is more damage. 5, Blade, whatever. 6, Phoenix Suit. Not good. Not a good hand, honestly. This hand does not come back from the board. Very bad hand. This goes to 2. Apocalypse is gonna scheme for 2 and a card. 2 boost in the Fiery Rage goes to 6. 2 encounter cards. Assault gets Surge. Under Fire. Uh-oh. Gets Surge, and we see another card. I'm never sure the order, but it's random. Barrage is here. Okay, so at least we have something to deal with minions. This is where teamwork gets really scary. So after Barrage attacks, you deal 1 damage to each character you control. So we at least have a good way to do 4 damage to minions. Biomorphing. I said Bombardier. Bombardier. Biomorphic. Biomorphing. The Gerund. So attached to Apocalypse gets Overkill. Scary, +1 attack. We don't block with allies. Assault. Okay, those are both gone. Let's draw our 6th card. Infinite Soldier. Okay, so we dealt with the text on this, so not that it would have Quick Strike because we're in Alter Ego, but this is actually really good that we have the thing that does damage to all minions. The problem with this one, though, is that it has Guard, so we can't send extra damage to Apocalypse. Cool. How'd the first game go? First and second, very, very good. Really, really quite good. I mean, first game, in one deck cycle, we blew up the villain. It was a bit harder against, what's it called? Against the 4 Horsemen. But so far, this one's like, this is a bad turn, but it's not bad. So this is where Psychic Blast gets really good, right? Psychic Blast says, deal 4 damage to the villain. Oh, it's not an attack, so it beats Guard. What the heck? So this actually does beat Guard. Why is this not an attack? Huh? I guess because a lot of times AoE cards are not attacks. Okay, that's incredible. That's really, really quite good. So my guess is that we will play Blade, just so that we can do this. And then we won't... Oh, if we recover, we'll be able to play Phoenix Suit. So yeah, this seems good. This is at 6 threat, but Apocalypse, we can actually defeat this turn if we put our mind to it. So let's see if we put our mind to it. Notably, Blade is actually kind of interesting in this scenario too. Or sorry, in Jean Grey, on the basis that Blade needs a physical, and we always have a physical. Oh no, Blade is discard a card. Yeah, never mind. That's nonsense. All right, so we're going to recover here because 5 health is a bit scary. So we'll recover 3. We still got to do our hero text. Or alter ego text, which does put a power counter on Phoenix Force, and we can still use the power counter on Phoenix Force. We'll flip up. Mind you, this will only come back after there's 4 or more power counters on it, so probably never, let's be honest. We'll play Blade. So we add Avenger and Vampire. We go up to 9. Then we'll do Band Together, which now generates 2 resources. So we're lucky that we drew an ally with this. And we'll play Psychic Blast, which very cool is not an attack. So we're going to go ahead and deal 4 damage to the villain. So Apocalypse takes 4. And then because we're Unleashed, we deal 4 damage to each minion. Oh no, they're all gone. Oh no. Barely an inconvenience. Then we can play one of these cards. I guess the only one we can play is Phoenix Suit. It gives us Retaliate. Cool. We can also knock out Apocalypse there. If we want to be greedy, we'll wait till this gets 8 threat. The issue is there's only this many cards in the deck and we haven't seen a single advance. So I honestly think like we probably should do it. Removing 6 threat is like pretty good and it gets rid of this +1 attack. So we probably should just do it anyways. So we'll attack with Bling, knocking out Apocalypse. So same thing. This goes, Apocalypse heals. Villain set 10. Then we'll go ahead and use our counter and play Phoenix Suit. So hey, we gained a trait, we gained Aerial. That's kind of cool. And notably, we have Retaliate. That helps. I'll pass. All right, show me a beast. Show me a Strength and Diversity. Because we're turning the corner. White Room, Strength and Diversity, okay, not the best, but like, hey, what am I talking about? It's 10. It's 10. X-Jet, Power of Leadership, good for Strength and Diversity. Power of Leadership, not great. Weird hand. Weird hand. Because Phoenix cards are good. I like Psychic Blast. It can be stunned and it works too. Yeah, because of non-attack, you can be stunned. Yeah, it's really good if you go Unleashed. The cards get really, really quite good. I don't think I realized how much the deck wants you to go Unleashed all the time. I'm counting 9 traits. What am I missing? Okay, good. We should check. Phoenix, Psionic, X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force, Unleashed, New, Avenger Vampire, Aerial. I lost count. Avenger Vampire, New, Aerial, Unleashed, Psionic, X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force. Yeah, I think you got me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. Good catch. Good catch. Apocalypse is attacking us. It's for 3 and a card. This can't defeat us. I think we'll just take it. We know that advances are coming up. Those might not be big attacks, but at this point, our attack stat for 3 is like, seems okay. We get Retaliate no matter what. I could see us defending here, I'll be honest, just to keep us alive. Yeah, I'll defend. I don't think we need the 3 attack stat on this turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we take 3. Villain takes 1 off Retaliate. That's the card that we're gonna not lose to, but it'd be very bad. So this is something we played around because we hadn't seen one yet. That's why we cleared this a bit sooner than we wanted to. So Villain schemes for 1, 2, 3, goes to 5. It was a good choice we made. We would have advanced. Man, I'm so used to finding the right number on a D6, and I'm still not used to finding the right number on these. For those who don't know, a D6 is really easy to know where the numbers are because the opposite sides always add up to 7. It's not the case for this die, where I'm like looking for the 2 and the 5. They're good for counting up. They're just not good for finding the right number at the right time. I need to pull Phoenix out of the box. Recently been wanting to try heroes I haven't really spent much time with. That's why I'm playing Phoenix too, to some extent. So I pulled Psylocke out and I'm asking myself why I haven't played her. So much fun. I've heard really good stuff. People have a lot of nice stuff to say about Psylocke in chat as of like recently. Okay, what's going on? 5 health is like slightly scary. The most damage we'll take is 4 if we block, as much as there could be a multi-attack. Strength and Diversity here can do 9. 9 is actually a really good breakpoint because we can knock out the Heart of the Empire, get the next Prelate, and that takes 6, and then we have 1 more left over. So that's kind of cool. We have no physicals in hand for Blade, which sucks because Blade doesn't actually interact favorably with well, the X-Jet. It doesn't. You need a card in hand. But this actually knocks out Heart of the Empire, which is good. Very quite good. We have 1 more advance in the deck, which like it is what it is. We could play White Room. White Hot Room is not a bad card. It does give you that incidental healing. And you notice we do actually jump up and jump down. It's a bit harder now that we don't have 3 thwart, but also it's a bit easier because we can attack Apocalypse for 3 and that will like reset the threat. So I think we always start here. So Strength and Diversity. So 9, I don't know if I have to keep pulling this card up. We've said it like 1,700 times today. So we'll do 9. So we'll start here with the Heart of the Empire. When we clear Heart of the Empire, we have to go get a random Prelate and flip this card over. So Prelate roll. There's 4 of them. We'll do left to right. 5 and 6 is a reroll. We get Abyss. Then we have to flip this thing over. And the backside has the same text functionally. It's the Towering Citadel. The only difference here is we have multiple acceleration. So it's a bit scarier. We really need to start ripping through these because you don't want to spend as much time as you can. You want to spend as little time as you can on the ones with higher acceleration for like obvious reasons. Comes in with 3 threat. Now Abyss here, 5 health, toughness, just like they all do. So you're never surprised with how much damage you have to put into these things. And it says it gets +2 hit points for each face down card. And after attacks, it gets a card from the top of your deck, I think. We're never going to have that text fire. You do need to destroy these things instantly because the longer you don't destroy them, the worse it is. Now that was only 1. So we have 8 more. So we'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, adding Abyss to the victory display. Again, very good against toughness. We have 1 more here. My guess is that we'll have to do it to the Age of Apocalypse. How are we jumping down this turn? It's really risky. Like, we can activate Bling. We only lose one trade. It's not the end of the world. But there's still 2 more Strength and Diversities and a Black Panther. We can't thwart, let alone we're bad at thwarting. So our hand is really bad at dealing with this. Like, if we don't deal with this, this goes into 5, 6, 7, 8. Apocalypse schemes for 2 and a card, so there's no way it doesn't advance unless we clear a lot of threat off of it. And even then, it's like kind of iffy. Our hand has no physicals, which means Blade can't do anything. Is Blade when you attack or only activate? Thwarts or attacks, bummer. We technically could discard Blade. Like, you're allowed to use it. I didn't consider this far in the turn. I think we don't jump down this turn then. So if that's the case, we're going to be exhausted next turn. So like just doing damage to Apocalypse is kind of hard. It's actually kind of hard. We would rather do damage. This goes to 6, 7, 8. If we draw an advance, no matter what it goes through. If we drop it to 4, it goes to 5, 6, 7. If we draw an advance, we're likely advancing anyways. So I think we just hit Apocalypse here for 1. So no matter what, if we draw an advance, we're kind of cooked, unless we draw a 0 boost and we removed 1 threat, which I'm not going to count on that, especially because the advance is still in the deck. All right, so we can do 2 resources for White Hot Room. This card only works in Alter Ego, but it's nice. Gets you incidental healing or some extra power counters. Those are both good. And then that's kind of it. Like, we can attack with Bling. At a minimum, I think I actually want to keep Blade as a chump block in case we need to. Because Apocalypse might double attack us. This, we're going to have to like kill Apocalypse this turn. Like, that's the issue. It's like, this is going to go up to what, 9, 5, 6, 7 to 8. So we have to do 8 damage to Apocalypse. We have a couple attack cards that get there. We have a 9 damage attack. That's mostly it. Otherwise, we have to draw Strength and Diversity, which like we'll get there. So it's a bit of a risky turn. I don't think we activate with Bling. I'd rather keep Bling for a panic block if we need to. It adds 4 threat here, but like whatever. Draw 4, 5. Yugen and Moonin, nice, cheap. Access to more traits. Genius. Strength. Mind control. Black Panther. Okay, Black Panther is really good because Black Panther lets us do another Strength and Diversity. So we have a way to defeat Apocalypse guaranteed. All right, this goes to +3, goes to 8. Excuse me. Apocalypse is attacking for 3 in a card. If we don't block, we can get defeated. If we block, we lose 3 attack. I think that's okay. We'll block for 2. 3. 4. So we take 2. Apocalypse takes 1 off Retaliate. It's not the advance. Oh, it's way worse. Oh my God, is this bad? Master Plan, place 4 threat on each side scheme. That is so much threat. That added 12 threat. So Gene Pool goes to 6. That's a bad breakpoint. Notably Consume the World goes to 4. That's terrible. Yeah, man, having this in the wrong order is so bad because now we have an Amplify. And of course, Towering Citadel goes to 7, which is also quite bad. So yeah, plus 12 threat on a single card is not something we wanted to happen, as much as I guess that's not a damage. Oofa doofa. Oofa doofa. Okay. So what can we do here? We can do 1, 2. We definitely need to knock out Apocalypse and then probably jump down to Alter Ego and just chill. Apocalypse, this will go to 3. Apocalypse will scheme for 3 in a card. So there's a chance, especially with the advance being in the bottom 4 cards, that we just like lose or advance more accurately, which is not a loss. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Black Panther. Unfortunately, we're actually short a resource to play the Strength and Diversity. Wait, how did we get up in this situation? We're short a resource to play the Strength and Diversity. We can't. It's too expensive. 1, 2, 3, 4 to get the thing, and then we get the thing. We can't play the thing because we have no resources off of our Phoenix Force. Oh, we're crashing out. We went unleashed and it's bad. We didn't draw a good Phoenix card. Now, the other option, of course, is we can just like draw more cards with Strength and Numbers. At a minimum, we can exhaust these 2, which goes up 2 cards or plus 1 card on max, unless we draw a resource, and then we can actually do the thing, which means we're not going to use Bling or Blade, which like, that's fine. That's not the end of the world. We also could exhaust Black Panther to draw another card, but I think these are just as good. So we'll do Strength and Numbers. We'll exhaust these 2 and draw 2 cards. We would love to get the big resource card. Grant Ward. Okay, that's nice. That's cheap as much as has text on it. And then we'll draw Vivian, who's also cheap, as much as Ariel is not something we need. So I think actually this works out well for us because now we can do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Black Panther. Oh, I thought we'd be able to play Grant Ward. We can't. That's fine. Black Panther has our 1 Strength and Diversity we've drawn so far. And underneath that, we get Wakanda. You already have Avenger. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and play 2 for the strength and diversity. So again, we have 10 to do. 2 for 10. We should feel pretty happy about this. It's hard to imagine we don't come back. So 2 for 10. So we can clear 8 threat, or we can just do 7 damage to Apocalypse. That leaves us with 3 left over. So we can probably deal with Consume the World. I'm assuming we have to. We have 2 more strength and diversities coming up. So as long as we stay alive, we should be good in the long run. So I'll do, again, 10. We'll do 7 to Apocalypse, defeating Apocalypse. So the villain recovers 3. We clear this. Nice. Then we have 3 left over. I think we'll just do 1, 2. And then we'll just do 1 here. Then Black Panther will clear this thing out so that we don't have to worry about the Amplify, which will be a problem. We'll jump down to Alter Ego. And now the good thing here is we have access to White Hot Room, so we don't actually have to be exhausting to recover as much. We'll exhaust this, and we can either heal 2 damage or place a power counter. Our deck still has a lot of resources in it, I think. We have only Genius, 2 power leaderships, and oh, the Band Together's here, so we only have Energy Strength. I think we only have 1 more expensive card in our deck, which is Beast, who's pretty affordable. So I think we're just going to heal 2. And it will pass. Oh, I forgot to give a trait here. Avenger Wakanda, Vampire, New, Aerial, Unleashed, Mutant Psionic, X-Men X-Force. No, we nailed it. Strength and numbers. Telekinetic attack, that's good. It's damage, has overkill too if we draw something bad. Oh, not you. You. We do want to strengthen diversity here. Beast, that gets our leadership card. That's really good. Telekinetic shield's quite nice. We can go grab an ally, but we did not unfortunately get what we wanted. Telepathic Trickery is nice now that we're unleashed because it does give you that stun or confuse, but notably Apocalypse is steady. So we'll have to spend 2, which is still good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. This goes to 3. Apocalypse Schemes for 2 and a card. 1, 2. Nice. The advance is so good for us for so many reasons. It goes to 5. We draw an encounter card. Fiery Rage. I don't know what this does. This is the last one. Peril. Can't say anything. If Dark Phoenix is in play, she activates. If Dark Phoenix is not in play, place 1 threat on gain surge. Okay, so Consume the World. Now we have to deal with it. Luckily, 1 threat is something we can deal easily with Strength and Diversity, but we now have an Amplify icon for whatever this card is, and it is just a guy. Hard Drive. Nice. Teamwork 4 health. After Hard Drive attacks, you place 1 threat on every scheme, on each scheme. And we do have the overkill damage in our hand. Okay, so here we have to decide what we want to do. We have the White Hot Room. The question is whether we want the healing or we want an extra resource. It's white hot. So let's plan this out. We can easily draw 3 more cards with strength and numbers because I don't know if we want to activate with any of these. The issue is that this is hero text. So we have to oh no, it's not even hero text. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's an action. I thought it was hero text. I honestly think we will do that. Now the ruling is really weird. If we wanted to like take control of Hard Drive, which I don't think we can, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't remove teamwork. I'm not sure it removes teamwork, which actually is an issue if you kind of like control what's it called? A character with teamwork on it. So we do strength and numbers, we draw 3 more cards. If we play Beast for 4 cards, we get a 3 resource back. So it's very, very cheap. We should not struggle to deal with this. So I think we're actually going to use White Hot Room to recover here because we can go to full health. So we'll spend to recover 2. And then we'll exhaust, which actually we shouldn't exhaust yet. We can just see what we'll draw in strength and numbers. So we'll tap 3 of these to draw 3. I think if we draw strength and diversity, we're in a really good spot. So we'll draw 3. Do we want to play Beast first? No, it's fine. 1, nice. 2, 3. Ugh. Okay, fine. We'll recover 3, which gives us a counter. So now we actually can use this counter. We'll flip up. So no strength and diversity, 2 in our bottom of our deck, which is okay. Again, once we clear this, we have to clear the next one. There will be another prelate, and then we can defeat Apocalypse, as much as Apocalypse will heal when that shows up. This is going to go to 8. There's no more advances in the deck, as much as we're going to deck out after this card. So we don't know what we should know what this boost icon is. It's a 1 boost. Okay, good. Mind Control blanks their text box. Oh, sick. Okay, I didn't know that. I know I've run into issues before where teamwork has showed up on the other side of the table, but this is take control and blank is text box. Okay, very good. Very, very, very good. All right, so I think we'll start here with doing 1, 2, 3. We'll keep 1 telekinetic blast. I don't think we need a call for backup here. We'll do Beast. After Beast enters play, we've just added the Genius trait. Mind you, we have an extra slot. We have 1 more slot after this. We can go grab a resource. We're gonna go grab the triple resource off Band Together. Okay. So things we want to do, knock out Hard Drive. remove 1 threat for consume the world. We have a couple things to do. We're at 10 health, which is impossible. So we can only be at 9. Excuse me. Usually when something blanks a text box, it says to keep traits. So maybe it wipes the traits. But teamwork is not a trait, from my understanding, right? Because it's just text. A trait would be something in that bold font, right? So hard drive, right? Like teamwork is not a trait, technically. Dark Riders is the trait. So it depends. The teamwork actually would fire. No, you're right, because teamwork would fire on the character that enters. Because teamwork cares about matching. I don't think you'd have to look at the ruling of teamwork, because I'm not sure if teamwork cares about the matching the traits on both of them, and they both have to have teamwork. I don't think they do, because that's something that showed up in Civil War. We got teamwork on cards without teamwork. So I think it would still fire, actually, because it still has the trait. Okay, so we're going to do band together into telekinetic attack. Oh, for strength and diversity purposes. Yeah. So this is going to do 7 damage to an enemy. If you have an unleashed trait, it does 2 additional in overkill. So we do 4 to hard drive, and then we do 5 to apocalypse. Very good. Okay. Now what we can play here is one of these cards. If we do telepathic trickery, it does some thwarting, I'm assuming. And then we get half a stun, half a confuse. I mean, not super important. This we can let go up to 8. I think I'm just going to play the telekinetic shield because it's like my favorite card. So we're going to have a way to block these big attacks here. I'm just going to use beast here. In theory, we could clear consume the world. I guess we will. But it's not super important. And we'll pass. All right. We're in a good spot here. We're likely going to draw at least 1 strength and diversity, which is going to blow a lot of things up. All right. Don't die. Kalu. Strength and diversity. Slingshot. Strength and diversity. Yeah, that makes sense. We're about to do a lot of work. This goes up to 8. Apocalypse attacks for 3 in a card. We're hoping for a low boost because of telekinetic shield. Another good reason to clear consume the world. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, well, we knew what this is. A couple things happened first. So we're going to keep this telekinetic shield, which is great. Give the prelate minion tough status, otherwise give Apocalypse a tough status. However, we have decked out. So that's scary. We'll shuffle this. And then we take 3 damage, which means we're going to be able to block a second attack. And this misses the discard pile, which is also good because that's a scary encounter card. We're just owed 1 encounter card here. We have a shield spy in our hand. We're going to have like we're going to do 26 value of stuff. We actually could win next turn. I think it's likely that we can win next turn. Maybe we could have taken 1 threat off of that. That might be a break point because every prelate is 6 value worth of strength and diversities. Oh, retaliate takes the tough off. Yes, because the boost happens first. We are going to have to defeat Apocalypse though. In theory, you want to do that before you advance to the 3rd stage because he heals 5, I guess. But yeah, I guess here we could draw in advance because we decked out. That would be make the bad case, but going to Apocalypse 4 is not game losing. It's just kind of ugly. All right. He's back. We totally destroyed him, and hard drive is just that tenacious. Like, hey, coach, put me in. I think I could do it. Okay, hard drive's back, sick. And that's it. Okay, so looking at our hand here, we have Kalu, which is not super useful. We have Slingshot, which we can get in for 1 resource, which is pretty useful. If we do that, if we play Kalu for 1, we can't do double strength and diversity, which is a problem. We have 1 resource floating, so we can do strength. That's probably it. It'd be hard to imagine that we don't just do double strength this turn and then just see what happens. And I'm assuming what happens is going to be pretty good for us. We can attack for 3 into hard drive. Seems good. Things just seem good in general. So I think we're just going to start hitting things and see what happens. Notably, we do have to knock out Apocalypse because this will have 3 acceleration, and let alone this is going to have 4 or 5 acceleration. Yeah, we'll be adding 5 threat a turn, so we have to close the game out relatively quickly. So we're going to do Slingshot and Rise for strength. Just a bit of a sanity check because I think we've been messing it up a bit. Psionic X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force, Unleashed, Aerial, 6, New, Avenger, Vampire, Wakanda, Genius. It's 11. We're so good at this. So we're going to do 6 off of the Towering Citadel, which means we have to get the next one and we have to go get a prelate. Notice how this one has a lot of acceleration. Luckily here we can roll a d6. 1, 2 is left. 5, 6 is right. We get Mikhail Rasputin. He's, I think, one of the least threatening ones. Mikhail, 5 health toughness, as they do. And after Mikhail attacks you, deal 1 damage to your identity. Like, that's not text. That's really surprisingly not text. So that's there. That was 6, right? So we have 5 left over, I think. I should have counted a bit better. And the Tyrant's Throne is in play. We can't remove threat from it, importantly, until we destroy Mikhail Rasputin, which we will do. It comes in with 4 threat. I think that was 6 on it. I'm pretty sure because there was 2 dice. So I think there's 5 left over. Okay, so we'll do 4 left over. We have to knock out Apocalypse. I don't think we have to be really precious because we never waste any value off of this. So we'll do 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 because we can knock out hard drive with our face. Okay, we now need to knock out Apocalypse, Mikhail, and then probably we should knock out Gene Pool just a bit. We want to get it to at least 5 threat. And then everything else we can do the Tyrant's Throne. We can put it on 1. We are going to deck out next turn guaranteed, which is a bit frightening, but at least all the strength and diversities will be in the deck. That seems fine. I wonder if we can win this turn. It's ugly that Apocalypse is on 5 health. If he's on 10 health, we'd be happy to advance because when you clear this, he heals 5. But so the question is, can we defeat 2 Prelates and do 10 damage to Apocalypse plus clear 4 of this? I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. But maybe, but I don't think so. All right, so we'll just play the second one. We have to use a counter of Phoenix Force. So one more time, 11. So we'll do 1, 2. So now Tyrant's Throne is open. We have to do 5 into Apocalypse. So that brings it to 7. Apocalypse is defeated. Villain set 10. So we did 5, 6, 7. We have 4 more. So we can just clear Tyrant's Throne. That will spawn a Prelate. The Prelate we'd have to attack a couple times. I don't know what else we're doing if we're not getting the Prelate. Notably, also getting the Prelate means we lose 3 acceleration, which like that's good. And even if the Prelates engage with us, it's not going to be like game losing. So I think we will just do it. Again, we did 7. We'll just do 4 to the Tyrant's Throne. All right, so we did it. We're going to heal Apocalypse, but Apocalypse now is at full health, so it's a good time to do it. So deal each other player in a counter card, deal the first player a Prelate. So we're going to have Sugarman, Shadow King. Shadow King's bad because it eats allies, I think. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, it's Sugarman. 5 health. I have no idea what we're looking at here. This art always like stood out as being something very different. Gauges the first player. When Sugarman attacks, this attack gains piercing. If this attack defeats a character, heal 5 damage. Okay, that's not real text. Just attacks for 3. Who cares? And then we flip this over. It says no longer worthy. So this is why you want to make sure that Apocalypse has full health. Attached to Apocalypse, heal 5 health. He can't heal health you don't have. He cannot take damage while Prelate minions in play. Ignore the Force Interrupt, which means when he dies, he dies. So that's all we have to do now is knock out Apocalypse. But he can't take damage while this Prelate is in play. So that's really quite good. All right. We've exhausted our hand. We have some things we can clear. Threat. Removing 1 threat here would be good. Strength and diversities might not draw back in our hand. In fact, it's guaranteed not to draw because we're drawing these 5. So we don't have to be precious about keeping our ally limit like really, really high. So that's good. Cool. Do you remember my skin crawl when I read the comics as a kid? He's icky. Is he like, I'm assuming with that name, he's gross. And like, that's the name you give to like a child predator or something awful. I don't know what he does, but like, there has to be another trait for some sort of the character that looks like this, because I'm assuming it's not just an elite prelate. There has to be more to it. All right, so we can not get Sugarman if we try. We could use Blade and discard Blade, whatever. Ideally, we want to crack the toughness here first. I'm just going to go ahead and like not get hard drive. I think if Sugarman stays, it's fine. It's not that bad. I think we just let Sugarman stay. Heal 5 from Sugarman doesn't matter. Like, there's no point in doing chip damage. The only thing we can do is take off the toughness. Like, maybe that's what we do. We'll attack with Beast to take the toughness off. And I think that's all we're going to do. Because if we can't defeat him, we can't. We, in theory, could defeat him by doing Black Panther Blade Bling. But what's in the bottom 5 of our deck? There's no attacks. But there's some readies. And readies are actually really good at this point in the game. So I think we'll just chill here. Artwork is relatively tame compared to what I remember. Oh, no. That's bad. We'll pass. We definitely could attack with them, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. That's it. We draw our last 5. This is a 2 encounter card turn, which is kind of scary. But we have at least the Phoenix Firebirds here, which I think are a bit more interesting when we actually do 3 damage with our attacks. So that's good. Oh, we have no power counters. In fact, this card's useless. We'd have to place counters, suspend counters. I mean, we could maybe do it. Instead of getting like 5 threat, this gets 2 threat. Which means we could have jumped down. We honestly could have considered jumping down. And then Apocalypse is just attacking us for 3 in a card. And we have our shield, so we don't mind. We deck out. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Huge boost. Shield cracks. Fine. Misses our cycle. And then Sugarman's going to attack. For 3. We will just take it. And then after Sugarman attacks against piercing, if this attack defeats a character, heals 5, which, oh yeah, that wasn't going to happen anyways. So we could have just used Black Panther. 2 encounter cards. This is on top. First encounter card. Infinite Soldier. Oh shit, we were meant to take a threat off of this. I mean, it's going to be fine. Oh, it takes Retaliate. Infinite Soldier is going to be okay. It sucks that this has Surge, and like in theory, we could take a whole train of these. We were meant to consider taking 1 threat off of this because this is one of the punishments. But it's going to have Surge, and it's going to attack us for 2. It also has Guard, so that's bad. So we're going to take 2 damage, and it's going to take 1 off Retaliate. Down to 4 health. No, make it stop. Oh, actually, very quite bad. Very quite bad. We should have threaded off of this so bad. We're going to get punished so hard. We could have put Black Panther into that or Blade. It doesn't matter. Why did we do this? And we don't have the AoE card. So you know how it is. 2 more damage, takes Retaliate, gets another Surge card. Okay, that's fine. Sort of. Actually, kind of not the best because Retaliate's pretty bad here. Molecular Control. Are we going to lose? All right, the Fittest. I don't know what this does. This is usually a conditional card. Attach the minion with the highest printed hit points and give it a tough stats card. Otherwise, again, Surge gets plat. I'm out of red dice. Oh, that went bad. That went so bad. We didn't knock out Sugarman, which we could have. We got punished. We didn't take threat off the gene pool. We got max punished. We threw this game down the stairs. Oh my God. What did we do? That's so bad. I've never fired the Fittest because you always just clear the minions immediately because they're either guard minions or Sugarman. Oh, wow. Ow, my soul. Yeah, we're legit out of red dice. Okay. So 9 health, pseudo guard, guard. It's back to us. Ow. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. We could play Cyclops, technically. Yeah, that did escalate quickly. We could play Cyclops, and Cyclops gives us counters. And if we have counters, we can ready. And if we can ready, we can knock out some of these things. That's like a cool thing. Sugarman thwarts for 2, which is like fine. In theory, Apocalypse can advance once, but like, yeah, that escalated quickly for sure. Oh my God, that was bad. Yeah, we had so many things not to do that turn that we said we'd do that we didn't. Like knocking out Gene Pool. If we took 1 threat off of this, these wouldn't have got Surge, and that was like the thing that cost us so much, right? Because Surge into this is bad. So we're gonna have to blow through this hand pretty bad. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3 for Cyclops. We're allowed the ally slot because we have a Triskelion and this doesn't take up a slot. We're still out of dice. Oops, not you. But it gives us 2 counters, which actually we could use because those are free resources. All right, we can come back. We can come back. We got this. Okay, so we have to figure out what our priority is. I'm assuming it's Sugarman. It's probably Sugarman. The Fittest gives Sugarman tough too. Oh yeah. I forgot that. Yeah, it does get tough. Yeah, huge catch. Kronk, how's it going, by the way? Yes. Okay. So now with the Phoenix Force, one of these we can play for free, and it just readies us. So we get like 3 damage for one of these. I mean, that's okay. Or sorry, Phoenix Firebirds. Gene Pool is one of those things that every time I say I'll take care of it, the next round I end up regretting it. Yeah, especially because we cycled the deck. All the next Infinite Soldiers were in it. Like we were kind of counting how many were left. But yeah, we said at the beginning of the turn that was something we were meant to do. We just forgot about it. All right, so I will play Phoenix Firebird. No, I'll attack for 3. Piercing is a pain. Piercing is a pain. Okay, Black Panther and Beast can deal with these. So all we have to do is 10 damage. Like that can't be that hard, right? So Beast will attack 2 into the Infinite Soldier getting knocked out. We're going to end our turn in Alter Ego, that's for sure. Okay, that's a start. I think Black Panther will attack for 2. Actually, no, Blade will probably do it. Blade is only adding 1 trait, and we're just going to discard Blade. I mean, Blade's fine. Blade will attack for 2 into Infinite Soldier, and we can't or choose not to. It's technically can't. So we'll go ahead and discard Blade. Okay, so all the functional guards are out, but we can't attack Apocalypse if we have the Sugarman in front of us. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and we should be ready. We haven't done anything. We should be ready, excuse me. We will use Cyclops attack for 2 to the toughness. Doesn't have retaliate, which is good. And we'll attack for 3, dropping Sugarman to 6. We almost are able to knock out Sugarman this turn. We could actually try hard enough. So do a Phoenix Fighter-Bird. So we'll pay 1 for 1. Says remove a power counter from Phoenix Firebird to ready ourselves. We will. And then we'll attack for 3 one more time. So drop Sugarman down to 3. Okay, so we could do this with Black Panther and Bling. We're going to lose some counters. I'll have to reconsider what those numbers should look like. And then we're just going to run away. So thwarting for 2 is the same as defeating Sugarman, because no matter what, 2 thwart comes off of something. So I don't think that's super important. We'll do Bling and Black Panther and just defeat Sugarman. Into the victory display. Man, that was a disaster. We're going to have to work so much harder for something that seemed like it was a given. It's good to keep you on your toes, though. All right, in terms of our traits, things got a lot worse, especially because Cyclops doesn't have traits that matter. So we have Psionic, X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force, Unleashed, Aerial. So we still have 6, which is like ballpark good enough. We'll hop down. And we'll go ahead and just use the White Hot Room to get some healing in us. So we'll recover 2. We'll pass. Whew. Okay, Strength and Diversity plus the basic attack plus Cyclops gets there. So how bad could it be? Psychic Blast, all right, that does 4 damage. Strength and Diversity, that is 6 damage. Paralysis, another Psychic Blast, a Viv, and a Strength and Numbers. This hand wins the game. We just have to survive this round. This goes to 4. Apocalypse is scheming only for 2 in a card. We've done a good job keeping him on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Massive goes to 9. Still alive. Did we add 2 there? Yeah, we did. Because it was at 2, 3, 4, plus 5 is 9, yeah. Caught off guard, fine. That doesn't do anything. Perfect. I think we have it. So discard an upgrade or support you control. We don't need the Triskelion. This should be ready. And then it's back to us. Yep, we definitely have it here. So we're just going to use the White Hot Room here to just give ourselves 2 resources or recover 2. Wow. So we go up to 6. And then we just have to send 10 damage into Apocalypse. So we'll flip up. We'll attack for 3 to the villain. Down to 7. Cyclops will attack for 2. Down to 5. And then we'll just keep it simple. Yeah, we'll just play Viv first. That's Vivian. She's here. She's good text. We'll ignore molecular control. Oh, because there's retaliate here. Retaliate doesn't matter. We'll take 1 off of the retaliate. Cyclops is defeated, so we lose this counter. We could have spent it first. It's okay. Technically, we put more threat on Gene Pool, but I'm just going to ignore it because after we do that, we gain Android Champion, and we can go ahead and just do Strength and Diversity. There was a more elegant way to do that. I just wanted to play a Strength and Diversity at the end, and we'll just do 8 damage to Apocalypse. Oof, that got away from us. That one was way more of an uphill fight, and I'm glad. Because so far the first 2 scenarios we played today have been just like send it, and go all the way. This one has more issues. You have to be a bit more thoughtful because caring about where you put the damage, when you put the damage, let alone the threat removal, is like my favorite part about Apocalypse. Like advancing this at the right time, advancing this and letting this go so you can defeat Apocalypse, like chef's kiss. Such an interesting scenario. It took us a while to get there though. I don't know whether it was a bad draw or not. We did draw a lot of resources early and our mulligan strat was like the reason why I think we survived that game because the early game was a bit tense. But that gets there for sure. Link in the description. Mind you, it's the list of the version of the list I published. I'll also link in the description, of course, to episode 89 of The Winning Hand. They put out pretty regular content. It's pretty great too. You're probably familiar with The Winning Hand if you're here. So do check that out. And thanks again for them having me on, which was really nice. As much as it took me months to get this gameplay on the channel, which I have to apologize for. That's mostly it. We've been streaming for almost 4 hours, which is nice. We started a bit late today. So hopefully y'all have been having a nice long weekend, if that's what you have. Again, I shouted this out at the beginning of the video, but I just want to shout it out again because it's something I'm pretty excited about. And maybe there's some overlap here because there usually is, right? So there's this beautiful game that you might know called Arkham Horror, and I've been playing Arkham Horror a lot. And just for April Fools on my other channel, the Metropolitan Grid, and I guess I have to hide this 1 second. We basically used this interface that I've built before, and we've changed it to stream some Arkham Horror. This was an April Fool's gag that we did on the Netrunner channel out of nowhere, but we have the same sort of setup with the same sort of technology, and it seemed to be well received. The short of the long is that there's a YouTube channel that I technically have owned for a bit, but there's no content on it called Velma's Diner, which in the hopefully near future, once I find time, and that's kind of an issue, I'm a bit overextended, we'll continue doing some live streams or maybe some video contents on Velma's Diner if you want to follow the modern Arkham Horror. Arkham Horror is a really great LCG from FFG. They just put out a new core set, which is actually pretty great. I wasn't super excited about it, but it turns out it's actually quite nice. So if you want to tune in for more Arkham Horror, that will be showing up on the channel. Link in the description if you want to hit that subscribe button. that's mostly it. It's been a really busy week. A lot of that was Arkham Horror. That's of course. It was a short week though. We had a long weekend, so that's good. Next week, I don't expect there to be, I'll be honest, any video content for the next little bit, but we'll definitely be back next Sunday, which I'm always excited for. If you appreciate content like this, if you've been hanging out in the chat or you're watching the VOD, this helps. It's like a nice thing to watch during the week. If you want to take a second to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. It like incredibly helps the channel grow through the algorithm, which makes this channel financially make more sense in terms of ad revenue. That's one thing, but it just lets it help grow, which is like really satisfying for someone who puts a lot of effort into things like this. And it's incredibly appreciated as a nice way to say thanks. That's it. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll catch you in a week. Hopefully you take care. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao, y'all.